favoring Imperial over the Turkish side. But if you look at the individuals and, you know, the reliance that Imperial have on Fur, I don't know if it's going to be sustainable, especially over a best-of-3 series. And I think it was a wild stat that the desk brought up as well. I think like 8 best-of-3s in a row that's been lost by Imperial, which is a rough stat indeed. But here we go. Map pick for Eternal Fire. The nuke will be the map, and it's going to be CT Start and Xantares. Long-range duel with the Glock being won by him.
Very nice. Oh, Fallen. That was a little bit scrappy for a moment. I think he assumed he got away from that. Out of control. Vinny up close is going to come out second best. X Floud. He just darts back up again. And in the meanwhile, the B site has been taken. It has been planted on as well. Bolt's caught in an awkward position. Goes down the same way. And Emor will put him 6 foot under. Meanwhile, Fallen, though, stuck on the A side of the map. Yet to lose any health. Has got 2 kills to his name. Dropping down, and he will be going the same way as the rest of his teammates. So Eternal Fire, it was a bit of an odd round, honestly. It seemed like they were split up, picking off the CTs left and right, but ultimately it was pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward indeed. Bit of a weird round as well. They're trying to go for the wrap around Xantares all by his lonesome as well. Fallen, so I feel Fallen, man. Like shooting the back of the skull with the USP, it's never easy. Even at the highest levels of CS, we've seen so many players struggle at times. But Forcepire is going to be coming out here for the side of Imperial. Okay, Fallen. All right, that's a hell of a shot. Emor taken down, and this is he is someone that the desk spoke about as well, right? The 2 obvious names for this team would be Xantares and Woxic. But we've heard that Emor is right now calling for this team. And at the same time, he was monstrous in the first game they had. Like, I think it was 39 kills he dropped earlier on. So he definitely has the chops to duke it up with some of the best out there. And it was against ENCE actually on Dust 2. But to start things off, it is going to be Fallen to find the first kill. A P90 in play. Huh. Okay. All right, X-Cloud.
That's something you see every day. Not sure if that was a legit buy or if maybe he's had a little bit of a whiff with that purchase. Either way, though, this team are pretty much locking this round in, and the force buy from Imperial looking like it will fall short. Bolts spotting and finishing off Woxic does give them a potential avenue back down on the ramp side, but Fura's on the other side of the map, starting to make moves down on Secret, and with 3 players for the Turkish team downstairs in good post plants. I feel like it's a case of maybe some exit frags, and that's about it here in this round. This one is pretty much a done deal. And he did mention Emor before. He had a great map on Dust 2. Still lost that map, mind you, against ENCE. The problem for me, though, is after that, he didn't really show up much again in that best of 3. And again, he can't be expected to. He's IGLing. He's not the guy you're looking at to be posting up the massive numbers. But in those other maps, we had moments from Woxic, but he was super inconsistent. Xantares was a beast, though, and for me, he's going to have to be a very integral part of that Mirage game.
Indeed, could be the case. For me, it just reminds me of some of the Mirage wins that Imperial have been against some pretty solid teams. Like, you remember the capitulation from Cloud9 at the Major, right, Vince? Where they just got dismantled by Imperial.
Yeah.
So that is a map where, you know, it totally makes sense why they've gone for it. Now, right now, we still have Deagle and a P90 in play, and a P90 will fall bolts with the drive-by. Man, I do kind of want to see at least 1 kill with a P90. I hope someone picks it up. Woxic, maybe you can.
I think it's more along the lines of how much of a slump Imperial have been post-Major, though, for me, is... First off, again, I completely agree with your sentiment, and also Kassad. If this is LAN, I'd probably go with Imperial. But the fact of the matter is, since the Major, they have been in a really, really bad state of affairs results-wise. I mean, in most of the best of 3s they've been losing, they haven't even picked up a map, and they haven't even made it close. So you're looking at the last sort of few weeks, and you're thinking, geez, this team has fallen pretty hard. First, still been fragging out, though. And with 55 seconds left, he's still on the server, albeit with a Deagle, but he does have the Kevlar alongside it. Eternal Fire taking their sweet time, making moves down on the B site, And for the most part, it is completely vacant. There are players downstairs, but they are stuck on the other side of the vents.
Yeah, this one should be just pretty much done here. We should see the AWP come out to play for Fallen come the next round, but Eternal Fire off to a very good start. And you got to remember, it was the CT side for Eternal Fire where they were incredible against ENCE. 13-2, I believe the scoreline was on the CT side. So all these rounds getting here on the T side, these are just bonuses, right? We might have seen a little bit of a change in the M4A1, you know, we also saw a little bit of change when it comes to Ancient as a map, which over the very tiny sample size of 2 maps in this tournament thus far, we can see that it has slightly now swayed a little bit away from being heavily CT-sided, but I feel like Nuke is still very much a CT favored map. So for Eternal Fire, any rounds that get here on the T side is just going to make the life much more easier. And I don't really see, I haven't really seen much from the side of Imperial when it comes to Nuke as well, where I'm just trying to look at the stats they have over here. Yeah, they've played it 10 times, but they've won just 3 of them, and that's kind of rough. That being said, a couple of the wins, some of the losses they had were comparatively pretty close. It was a 16-14 loss against Astralis. There was a 16-11 loss against MOUZ, where it was pretty close for quite a while, but then MOUZ kind of ran away with it. Let's see what they have in store for us here with this buy run. Fallen with the off. Looking to teach a few lessons to Eternal Fire, Will the Professor. Rest of them, M4s are bound for each and every one of the members. Utility is kind of sparse. They used up a lot of it very early on in the round. So we have a couple of smokes and nade and 3 flashbangs in possession of the CTs and bolts with a solitary kit.
And because of that lack of utility, they can't really afford to fight outside. So they've pretty much given this one up completely. They do have Fallen now watching the cross with the AWP. But considering there's still 3 smokes at the disposal of the T's, they can toss these in. Fur bypassing the smoke, just heaped on top of the rails. Spray is good for 1. Woxit gets flashed out. So a hit and run. And that's a clean kill. So Eternal Fire now reeling a little bit, have 35 seconds left with the outside control, can try and wrap around the back, but Vinny goes in for the peek and takes him out. The bomb's dropped on the top of the fence. They need to go and retrieve this. Time is ticking away ever so quickly now. Eternal Fire are in trouble.
And they know Xantares was spotted to its heaven. The C4 was spotted as well. So Calyx has a lot of work to do. He needs to take care of at least one of the defenders here. Fallen, playing up close and personal. And Molotov going to be deployed. Fallen finds Woxit. Trade should happen, but it's a little late here. And Calyx left alone. There's not much you can do. Great work from Fallen there. Finding 2 quick kills, and the AWP will be retrieved as well. And with that, the Brazilians, they find the first.
I found the first, but importantly, additionally, they keep a lot of players alive, or enough at least, to drop down. So they have FAMAS in play, but it's now up to Eternal Fire to go in for their own retrieval. And yeah, it's this kill from Fur up on top of the smoke, which was so huge. There's a flashbang tossed in behind that as well. And then a really scrappy outside attempt was made. Fallen with 2 beautiful shots. And he said he's going to try and teach some lessons. He certainly did just that, but they still have to be so careful here, Blair, because if they concede straight away, they are in trouble themselves. Their money, they did decently to save players, but there's a number of them that are down below the $500 mark.
Early, very important kill onto its bolts, and Vinny's going to try and retrieve that gun. The smokes will bloom. It's an interesting... yeah. This one's going to give them a lot more room to work with, to maneuver around, and there's nothing the CTs can do. There is Fur waiting. Can't really hear any footsteps, but they have to assume that a few of the T's have crossed on over. So you can see 2 of the CTs of the defenders in the lower bomb side already lying in wait. Vinny, drop out from the vents. FNX there as well. This could shut this one down.
Looking to boost up over. They can't see Xantares right now. He's looking down, but that peak timing is brutal for Xantares. Woxit at least is able to come back with one of his own, but FNX sprays in for 2. And in doing so, drops the bomb down in secret. Calyx can do very little about all of these shenanigans. Although he's on 7-1, it'll become 8-1 as he gets the freebie kill into Fur in the back. But there's still 2 players to contend with, 30 seconds on the clock. And the bomb is in a very awkward position. Allows FNX to just reposition, and considering that how clean he got those kills, yes, Fallen is low. FNX on 100 HP should be favorite to just close this round out. Flash is decent at just stalling this a little bit longer. Calyx running out of ammunition, has to reload, and he realizes that his time has run dry. He has to save, and Imperial will get 2 in a row.
Calyx is just so far away there. And the only option he had from that position was he could have tried pushing in towards the vents and making his way up towards the upper bomb side, but even then, I don't think he would have had quite enough time, or it would have been very close. So great work there. FNX is someone who has struggled a little bit for his team in the past, but here he does come up big. In the meantime, you can go to roobet.com and use fun638 to claim your bonus. While you do that, we shall resume with the game here. We have the AK safe in the hands of Calyx, and because he's got a little bit of extra money remaining in his wallet fence, everyone else is just going to go for the eco. 1 Deagle being purchased, that's about it, in the hands of the ever so capable Xantares. No utility, however. So they're going to have to rely on just going for these dry duels and hoping they're able to dome some heads.
Yeah, even if they do concede this round, if they can get some kills out of it, that may be good enough. They just keep Imperial within arm's reach. FNX, big kill, had a good round in the previous one. And it's continuing that mantle. AK's been spilled out, and the spray from FNX is so good. Up against, by and large, armorless opponents. Xantares puts a bullet in the head of Fallen. Nearly doubles up, but FNX holds the line. Only 1 casualty, and retrieving the AWP is huge for the Brazilians.
Just 1 casualty there. Nice shot from Xantares, but not really getting much done apart from that. This is a nice haul from FNX, despite the fact that sure, everyone else were pretty much on an eco. Splash assist as well from his Capitan as we tie things up. And you can see the money is pretty decent for a few of the players, but Imperial will be looking to go on a bit of a streak here. Eternal Fire though, first buy in a while. Incendiary from the CT is going to keep them at bay. What is this? Emor just runs on out. That is brilliant. Flashbang blinds everyone, but Emor able to take Vinny as he slow things down for a second. Bolt needs to go big. There's no one nearby. He's going to find the first kill. Drops him down from above, but Xantares is ready and waiting for him. That's the upper bomb site. Rested by Eternal Fire.
Also smoked off, so they can't even get in up close quick enough. Fallen seems resigned to his fate. They're already setting up for Axis, but they had control of the bomb. First spotted outside, and Xcloud, who goes out to try and retrieve, has been fragged. Oh, they didn't take the bomb with them, and that could cost them so dearly.
Looked like they had the round, Vince, but this is slowly spiraling out of control. FNX needs to be careful. Nade sails in. It's perfect. What was a 4v3 advantage for the T's? It just gets destroyed. The bomb getting topped. Oh, that's so gutting for the Turkish side, but for Imperial, they'll take that. I didn't even notice it. I didn't even know the bomb was all the way back there. I thought this round was pretty much done.
I don't think Eternal Fire realized either until it was too late. It's like, yeah, we're on the site, boys. All right, brilliant. But we can't plant. And Fur with that rotation just completely destroys them.
It's a classic case of, wait, who was supposed to have the bomb again? Oh, well, Tech9's out. Emor again opening it up. The flashes are good as Bolt. He's going to get hounded here. Great hole from him as Fallen is going to find one of his own. And it's all on Calyx. There's not much he can do. Despite the early couple of good opening kills coming in from Eternal Fire, Imperial, they will string 5 in a row together. Eternal Fire not able to get the bomb down a single time the past 5 rounds, but now we'll see the guns coming out once more.
Now, when you look at the stats in terms of Mirage, it does not paint a pretty picture at all on the side of Eternal Fire. So you feel like this is a must-win map for them. And Imperial, we already talked about it, 30% win rate, 3 wins out of 10. And some of the losses they've sustained, by the way, have been pretty rough. The wins they got was against 9Z. They also beat up on Offset, the Portuguese team, and Falcons, the French team, back in March. Apart from that, they've lost everything, including losses to Party Astronauts, MIBR. So you're looking at a team right now that has made Eternal Fire look very ordinary in these last 5 rounds. They've just not been able to get anything, and it's not as if they've been outplaying, just the duels seem to be going against them right now. But Fur, giving his position away, nearly popped through the smoke, dropped to 46, and Xantares can now try and make the most of that down on Secret.
Xantares all by his lonesome. Vinny, he's got to go big here. The swing comes, and he actually gets a dink on the player inside of Squeak, and now Bolt's his turn to shine as he's able to get another dink on in, but 25 HP and 9, but Emor with a clean shot into Fall, and it's all in Fur here. It's still winnable, but Eternal Fire immediately is pivoting back towards ramp, and Fur should be aware of this. But no, he's not going to drop down the vents. Instead, he's going to be slowly making his way. He's confused. Bomb getting planted. Now he knows. He should know now where Eternal Fire have headed towards. But there was a window there, Vince, where he could have kind of thrown himself at the two members and maybe isolate and maybe found those duels. But now Emor seems to be aware.
I assume the call must have come in that both of these players are very low, because Fur himself is on low HP. So I'm surprised he's even in this position to start off with. Smoke onto the site, and he backs off. Oh, he's going to decon, but he doesn't have time. There's nowhere near enough time for this. So he's going to just head up to the A site instead. And it just didn't feel at any point he was fully committed to trying to clutch this round. It's like he was caught in two minds of whether he goes or not. Goes in at the end to try and retrieve the AK, which is to his left-hand side. I'm not sure he got that. But regardless, Eternal Fire get their first in 5 rounds. And even then it came down to a 2-on-2 and nearly worked against them.
Great awareness from Emor there to find Fallen. Look, considering how low they were, there's so many dinks from Imperial, but great round indeed in the end from Eternal Fire. Especially Emor. Sure, it's only sitting on 5 kills, but still, it's been heavy impact coming in from the man. We have buy in once more for Imperial, but because of the fact that they've lost so many players, Vince, they are scraping the bottom of the barrel here for this buy, and Walk's going to come out on top, and that's Fur, the danger man, taken out of the equation pretty early here.
Double nades to the back of the site. No one home. Love that double nade setup though. Saw a lot of Calyx when Eternal Fire were on the CT side, having so much impact from that very spot. That's something to watch out for as well. Eternal Fire's CT side is nothing to sniff at all. A Fallen protruding around the corner of Hut, peering down, will be finding Xfloud in the next couple of moments and takes his head clean off. Flips the kill switch and gives them an advantage on the site now. 50 seconds left on the clock. FNX, different angle. Vinny trying to get aggressive outside. Quickly, Vinny spots himself, Xantares in the garage. FNX takes down not just the kill, with a bomb alongside it, and goes above and beyond to pick up 2. FNX is having a hell of a game here, come under a lot of scrutiny for some of his stats and performances, but you can't argue with 12 and 5, and walks straight into Vinny. Unsure as to his position, Imperial regain their 2-round lead.
Great stuff there, and yes, absolutely, you hit the nail on the head there with FNX. We spoke about Fur having to be the heavy lifter, the star of this team, and this is something Kasad and Yanko mentioned as well, right? When it comes to just plain firepower, which is something that this team doesn't really seem to possess, as opposed to some of these younger teams, these tier 2 up-and-coming lineups where all these young stars. And sure, and all these guys, they're legends in their own rights, especially the likes of Fallen and FNX. Even Vinny and Bolt as well. They've been around the scene for quite a while, but when it comes to just actual delivery in the server, it's been mainly Fur all this while. So for him to still be impactful overall, but to have FNX have such a solid start here, that's a great sign. And not to forget Fallen as well. Like he was hitting some really clean shots as well early on, despite it being a losing effort. So Eternal Fire not having necessarily an easy time as Fur, classic Fur, catches Woxic. And he's actually paranoid. I think he went for that push very, very late, Vince. So he's probably assuming that maybe one of the T's had crossed on over, which is a bit of a surprise, but still, he will fall all the way back, playing this one very, very safe indeed. There are still a couple of AKs in play for the side of Eternal Fire, and they need to be wary of that.
Oh, line up for Fur, and he will capitalize. His third kill coming up onto xFloud. It's been all Fur all day in round 11, but Zintares does at least make it a little bit more costly in the end. Not that it really matters a great deal, only the one casualty. And Imperial, since losing the pistol and the subsequent 2 rounds, they're effectively 7-1 on this half. Eternal Fire have only won 1 rifle past that pistol round, and that is a very concerning state of affairs.
Absolutely. Just a 1 round won by Eternal Fire thus far against the buy of Imperials. So stiff resistance being met rather. I would like to see a couple of, maybe some executes coming out from Eternal Fire here towards the upper bomb site. I felt like they had good success. We saw a couple of rounds where Emor was able to find the openings. 1 round was obviously when they forgot the C4. The 2nd round was when they only had the pistol, so they were getting shut down. But it has worked in the past for them, so maybe the buy round, after waiting out the initial flurry of utility from the CTs, they could do something about this. See how the smokes, they line up for outside. While Emor making a bit of his presence known towards Squeaky. Again, aggressive posturing coming in here. Oh, then it's gonna hurt a bit, not too much though. Classic CS nade. Smoke comes in, but Fallen, that's lovely, Vince. That is lovely indeed. But Emor is simultaneously able to get the trade, albeit on a different player, and he's single-handedly going to come charging on in. Might be a little too late for the trade there, as Calix a bit delayed on that peak. Vinny's going to find him. Despite that kill being done by Emor, this is looking rough here. 1 man remains. It's Woxic once more. From a 1v4, he's able to get it to 1v3. Might even be able to get the bomb down, perhaps, but this is not going to be easy.
No, and even if he can get the bomb down in the first place, which is a big if, as players coming down towards the double doors will be Vinny. Tickles the bomb, draws him out. Even if he can force this bomb down, there's multiple avenues he has to watch out for. He's being flanked from ramp. He knows one's control room. He heard the footsteps. That's why he looked up to the ceiling. He's trying to picture exactly where that was coming from. And Fer just bypasses the angle, catches Woxic unaware. But Eternal Fire, this all feels like it came off the back of that 1 round where they took control of A and they left the bomb outside towards spawn and Fer punished them. Since then, it just feels like the entire atmosphere of this team has gone flat.
And I'm a bit surprised they haven't gone back to that again. They actually found that success early on. Despite not being able to convert into a round. One was because they had pistols, and oh, this is fast. A Mac 10 though, but somehow Fer stays alive. Lantara still opting to take that duel, but Fer smartly repositioning himself, falling on back. In the meantime, xFloud opening it up, but FNX from above delivering death. And down to Emor, where he will upgrade to the A1, and these 2 players are very low indeed.
Yeah, so is Emor though, and flashes and nades landing around him, fully blinded. Another flash. Oh. He can't see anything, the poor lad. Fully blind for a good 5 or so seconds. And Imperial continued to twist the knife in the side of Eternal Fire. They went on a 5-round win streak. Eternal Fire bounced back, and now they've just extended to another 4-round streak. And they are just cruising on the CT side.
Nine to 4, Vince. And as you've mentioned a couple of times as well, it came down to the pistol round and the subsequent couple of rounds there, which allowed Eternal Fire to get that 3-0 start. Now, for Flame Spread, just tickled his feet a little bit, he'll be fine. Might spot the pixel, he spots the guy on top of the silo. That's a jig being up. How long can he stay alive? Not long is the answer. Emor spots a 2nd player as well, that is Fallen. Will have to fall back, but not before he takes a couple of shots, pot shots through the smoke. This is much better from Eternal Fire. Catches Bolt with the aggression. Now Vinny has to deliver.
Fallen also has just chipped in, but Vinny's gonna get caught for the back. Here comes Fallen again. He's landed 2 and a third as well, still alive, but Emo's gonna put him down. In the meanwhile, FNX makes up the space, and Emo turns to his left just as he gets peeked from his right. And that'll be the end of his life, but Fallen has given his team a chance. FNX has had a blinder of a half as well. He's on 16 kills. He's been a man on a mission. Woxic, not entirely sure as to which angle to watch out for, and FNX all the way around the back to lobby, and this may catch Woxic off guard. The two of them are going to come head to head. Two bulls charging at one another. Now slowing down the pace, and Woxic is going all the way around towards heaven. We saw this yesterday as well. It was a clutch play. Thing is,
I can't believe just how this one is played out, Vince.
It's wild, isn't it? The problem here for FNX is he has an incendiary, but he doesn't have a smoke. And so as soon as he taps that bomb, he is gone from Woxic. Very well played. I kind of feel a bit gutted for Fallen though, man. Those 3 kills he picked up on A deserve to win the round.
Oh yeah, those are some exquisite shots, even though we didn't even see the first couple from his POV, but still, he wasn't missing anything. And FNX, he was going for the 400 IQ play, but then the Woxic's like, well, you know, we're gonna go for the 500 IQ one. They just walk past each other. Take a look at the replay. Oh, great stuff coming up from Fallen there. But in the end, Eternal Fire, it's labored, Vince, but they get it done. 2 rounds now on their buys, as Vinny finds the opening. Fur as well, just fighting aggression with aggression. Emor at least able to trade this one back. There is someone inside of the smoke next to the vents. That is Antares, and I don't know if he's been checked yet. No, they haven't. Tucked on into the corner. Should catch Vinny, but no, Vinny barely taking any damage, actually, considering Xantares saw him before, leaving it all in Emor and Calyx. There is a player all the way towards CT. Offer, oh, you rascal. Emor doesn't know he's expecting that. And with that, a clean round number 10. They get a double digits here, Vince. But Eternal Fire, remember, 13-2 CT side against ENCE on this very map. So with 5 rounds, they should still be reasonably happy.
Yeah, but that's a whole different kettle of fish, isn't it, with Imperial? You would have to say, though, that although Fallen and FNX were playing fantastically, they were playing very static positions for the most part. And when you go through on the T side, is that going to have the same level of success? Yes, Fo is getting aggressive. Yes, we even saw Vinny pushing outside a few times as well. But when you have to push into that defense, things can go awry very quickly. However, if they can pick up this pistol, it automatically puts Eternal Fire in such a horrendous position for this entire half, and they are going to be picking up the pace. That was a decent grenade, though, tossed in. Chipping away 4 players' health bars. Now going downstairs. xFloud has the cross. He's had a rough game so far on 3 frags. He is going to extend that to 4. But he's now being pushed upon by multiple players, and Bolt is going to punish him. Xantares misses out on his chances. They push into the control room. Beautiful shot though onto first. Splatters him across with the USP. The safe plant in the smoke. But Xantares is now taking the initiative. Another headshot delivered first class. Just what Eternal Fire were desperate for, considering up until that point Imperial had the player advantage, but they're still in a post plant. They still have every chance of taking this round and making it theirs, especially as Bolts has come in swinging with the USP. FNX's position could just watch the bomb forever, and they drop down. They don't deal with him. Bolts now up close, diminishes Antares' health, and the time is so low, there's no way for Calyx to clutch. Imperial managed to get this round and make it theirs. They're going to have an 11-5 lead.
It is so unfortunate that I think Xantares was looking for the C4 in the T smoke. He was looking to tap the bomb, Vince, but he couldn't find it till the smoke dissipated. So if he'd at least got a tap, that would have forced a peek out from Imperial a little bit more earlier, enabling his teammates to maybe just go for those duels or at least try and suss them out. But he couldn't find the C4. He was looking for it in the smoke. So not able to tap, that meant that the final 2 Ts, they didn't have to peek at all. Bulls didn't have to peek, they could just bide their time. And in the end, yeah, no kit, there's nothing he could do. Eternal Fire losing a much needed pistol round as Vinny's own open things up, catches Emo and drops straight down into the vent.
I've been so impressed with how Imperial have played so far. Players you don't necessarily expect to be standing up and fragging hard, like FNX, Vinny, have been doing so well in this game. boltz additionally 14 kills to his name as Fur dials in his 14th too. It's just a collective effort. It's a team effort here. They're not relying on Fur to go above and beyond, Fallen to just pull out some crazy plays and wind the years back a good 3 or 4. Everybody is chipping in, but there's two sides to every story. And Eternal Fire's chapter has been pretty disappointing. 5 rounds, 3 of them off the pistol, and since then, Imperial have looked like they're on a different planet to Eternal Fire.
Done a good job just averting the danger of the force by woxic all the way bottom of the ramp, but he's got backup as well in the form of X-Flout, but Imperial, okay, they've broken the window. They really haven't made a play yet, and here it comes. Smoked off. Eternal Fire probably thinking, surely they must be sending someone in late from radio towards ramp. But a bomb getting planted. They realize, yep, this one's done. Great stuff from Imperial there. Although sure, Fur down to 1 HP, Vinny on 30, but still keeping all 5 players alive. With his 2 AKs as well, very much in play. And now for Eternal Fire, sure, you have the MP9, the 5.7 to scout, save for the next round, but Antares and Emor won't really have much. Maybe Calx can drop a 5.7, which he has towards Antares or Emor perhaps, but Imperial, they still have to just contend with this light buy come the next round, and they still have those Mac 10s to work with. And I 100% agree with you. This has been a fantastic map coming out here from Imperial. And color me surprised. I think everyone was expecting Eternal Fire to take this map, right? Considering the showing they had against ENCE, but Imperial are not just making them really struggle here. And it's not just been the first show. It hasn't been just a one-man show here. FNX, sure, he's 16 and 8. He was incredible in the CT side, but everyone's chipping in. The kill spread between FNX, the highest fragger, and Fallen, the lowest fragger, is IGL as well, is just 5 kills. It's a team effort.
Oh, and this has been a well-oiled machine. However, that machine coming apart, a couple pieces get blown out from that HE, and Fur will have to sit out and watch the rest of his teammates try and deliver this round. Oh, Calx gets shredded by his own HE as well. 50 hit remaining for him as he backs away into the ramp. So a great start, all things considered. Eternal Fire on the back foot, no doubt, with this lack of buy. And yet getting a first pick, able to stabilize a little bit over on the ramp side. Now Zentaris can go for some peeks outside as well and get some information. Looking pretty good. This is maybe the catalyst, maybe where they can start the comeback trail, but they still have 4 very capable, healthy Brazilians up against them, one of which is boltz. And he sits, lays in wait, and gets the reward for his troubles. 3 players, though, stacked on the A site, one of which may be forced away from this Molotov. Indeed, he shall. Emor has to drop down. That would have been heard by Vinny. Round the corner of the back 10, sprays into him. 2 players now in the hut. Need to be checked, need to be dealt with. But woxic on the flyby takes the head of FNX and makes it his. Puts it in his trophy room. They're going to just do their best to bypass all of this aggression from Eternal Fire by vent diving down to B and getting the plant into position.
All alone now, they're fallen for the time being. Attack comes in. Can he make his escape? No, he can't. Now it's all on boltz. They don't know where he is, though, Vince. And the bomb, it is planted for him.
He was last spotted outside, but as he said, it could be anyone's guess where he is. Now they've seen him. woxic lands another scout shot. He knows where the bomb is planted for, though. Goes in for the spray. Nearly takes down 2. Dropping X-Flout to 26, Calx to 36, but they have enough health to clutch it out. That was down to woxic, though. He gets 2 kills, but he weakens up multiple players, and that shot from heaven onto Vents was disgusting.
That was all woxic, 100%. First, as you said, the shot from heaven was just unreal. And then he finishes off Fallen, the double tag, and even the final player, boltz. He had a chance, Vince. He had a chance, but a tag comes in. It was going to be easy for Calx to finish him off with the MP9. That is a huge round to win for Eternal Fire. Considering it was basically them, considering it was a save, and all they had were the scout and the MP9 save from the previous round. Imperial, they're gonna not be happy with the way that played out. That should have been a guaranteed round number 13. This Fur comes charging out so quick, Vince. Just running on past the flames, and xFloud's gonna be wondering, who is he playing against? Is this the Flash?
Oh, you just love to see it, don't you? Just hold W. Just hold W, get the entry, instantly Eternal Fire, all of their hard work in the last round. It hasn't come undone just yet, but it's beginning to unravel. And they have to try and stitch it back together again. Still so much time left.
Yeah, Fur's a mega Chad. He's like, just like, not only is he jacked, he's fast as well, Vince. That's terrifying. You usually have jacked people, they're not really that fast at running, but he does his cardio and his weights.
It's a pretty terrifying combination, absolutely. And it's one that Imperial haven't really needed to rest on too much this game because everyone's been jacked this time. Meanwhile, though, smoking off on the control room. Spray through, they'll know at least one player is situated downstairs, going in for the plant. The smokes are so on point here. The only angle that could feasibly come from is Decon, and they have multiple sets of eyes staring to that very position. And Eternal Fire already realized, yeah, they have to pull the plug. Like, the chances of them retaking a 4v5 when they have a couple players low on utility and very low in terms of finances going forward on the likes of Antares, you don't want to throw all of your weapons and your entire chips down on the table in this round. You can't afford to.
And all predicated off that one kill from Fur. Just running on in. And poor xFloud. There's no way he was expecting Fur to be there so close. And with that, sometimes that cloud will quickly crumble. It's one kill is all Imperial needed. They get the 13th round. Eternal Fire, sure, they keep 4 alive, so Emor can drop a gun. Zantaro's going to drop in one for xFloud, so buy will still be solid, but they are running out of opportunities here. Still a world that can bring this one back, Vince. CD side nuke. We've seen Eternal Fire do this. That being said, they did it when there was no pressure. They were starting on the CT side against ENCE. This time around, they definitely feel the pressure. 3 rounds, all that is needed for Fallen and his veterans to take their opponent's map pick.
I mean, it was on Dust 2, but we saw the defending major champions yesterday lose a 14-6 lead on Dust 2. So anything is possible, absolutely. And Imperial will know this. They're the kind of team with Fallen, but let's be honest, everyone on this team is pretty damn experienced at this stage. They will not take their eye off the prize. They will not lose focus. Meanwhile, they may lose a few more lives because Antares has gone in for that bypass peak, and he has dealt the fatal damage to Bolts, a lot of damage to Fallen as well. And considering they got an entry before that as well, it has put Imperial in a rough position. They're making moves outside of Squeaky. Emo at the back of the site will get an unsuspecting Vinny who was peeking up on the catwalk. And it's looking good for the Turkish team to at least get a 7th round, but they need to do this one cleanly. Losing Woxic is a significant casualty now, and it does also afford Imperial the chance to push down on Secret.
3v2 is definitely winnable, especially with Fallen. He's got the AWP as well. I take his name, though, and Zantares. 2 HP, Vince. 2 HP. And he still just dismantles Fallen. Now, down to Mr. FNX. Top fragger in the server will take care of Zantares. And now with the 1v2, he's kind of running out of time. Okay, the spray looked like it was on point. Emo holding the line. Repositions himself, and FNX actually expecting to be inside of Squeaky, so danger will be averted, but they do suffer so many casualties, as you pointed out, Vince. So a buy is definitely on the cards here for Imperial. 7th round for Eternal Fire, still not out of the fire yet. I love how Zantares just played that outside position. He had no backup. He was just walking in through the smoke, and it was just like there was no flash, nothing from his teammates, and somehow he gets 2 kills, gets away with murder. And then he even finds a 3rd kill on towards Fallen. So pretty much a one-man army. There's Antares in that particular round. We're going to need more from him and the rest of his team if they want to bring this one back.
Well, it has to be the first step of many. It's going to be a case of not just getting across the finish line, but getting there and keeping at least 3 players alive consistently. xFloud 400, Woxic, once he's bought his utility, he's going to be down at a similar point. Unless he gets dropped the util, the likes of Emo, which is also possible. And now out come Imperial from the gates. Getting a bit of aggression with tons of nades being tossed in early on from Eternal Fire. They only have one incendiary left after the first few moments. Such is the case with Nuke. You want to cordon off those fast A corridors of aggression on Squeaky and Hut. Imperial now filtering their way outside. Playing deep in lobby, making noise. Pretty standard opening though to this Nuke round. You can understand as well why both teams might be a little bit tense, because it's such an important map. Of course, this is a decider. This is to determine which of these two teams is eliminated. So they want to make sure they fight for every scrap, every inch, every little part of the map. And now flashes and smokes being exchanged, and Centaurez gets plucked out through the smoke.
That is not the play. Let me do it again, but this is much better. But the flash, only good for one. Xantares did this previous round where he just walks into the smoke and gets a kill, but this time around, Imperial were ready and waiting. And although Emor peeks in with the flash, is also only able to find one. So Woxic, he's got to go big here. Waiting, biding his time. A lot of noise being made by Vinny. He just drops Trace down to the vents. Now Calyx is conveying information, and Woxic aware that there is Vinny inside of the vents, but that's going to allow the rest of the team to group on up. And they're going to just avoid him completely. All three members just heading straight into decon.
Are they heading up the vents? Can't quite see from the perspective where they're pushing in. I think they are. Follow now is going to be dropping. Nope, they go for the B plant anyway. Woxic now's going to go for that peek in the smoke, not too far off. Bolt's tagged down to 73. Xfloud tagged as well, and first making moves in the control room, but Woxic has been deemed forfeit, and that's a huge scalp to take. Calyx, though, is keeping them in with a shot. Xfloud and Calyx both have kits, but they only have a flash between the two of them, and Fur picks up the frag onto Calyx. He heard the doors open. He knew that Xfloud was pushing his position, but the bomb is planted for Fallen, and he's on full HP. It's a battle of the AKs, and it's gonna be Fallen that comes out ahead. A very important round for Imperial as they knock back the Turkish team once more.
Money is... Oh, this is rough. This is rough of Eternal Fire. They have enough for a rough buy. We can see the op already coming out here, but this is just... I'm not sure why... I mean, he got away with murder the previous time, but that is not how you just walk in through the edge of the smoke. And he didn't just swing out wide either. His feet was spotted out. Emor trying desperately to at least get a trade. And a great job from Imperial, able to avoid Woxic's position with the AWP there, Vince. And with Fallen coming in, creeping in towards the coming in from Mini that late as well, they had options available to them. They could even have headed towards the upper bomb site. That round was Imperial through and through. Emor, oh, he had no idea Fallen had crossed on over. As Fallen spots a second player as well. Smokes will now be deployed. Big gap there. Big gap, and they should be aware of this. They know he's there.
But they had Vinny. Vinny was the contingent. He was the ace up the sleeve. Even with a gap in the smoke, he can peek in from Squeaky, and no one was watching that. Calyx tries to spam through the Squeaky smoke, but nothing really forthcoming. Not a single point of health has been lost on Imperial up to this point. That's going to change now, though, as Xfloud with that 5-7 able to trade up to the AWP, but it costs him his life. Fur's there to pivot in, leaving Woxic and Calyx. Calyx, at least, is putting down a little bit more pain and suffering with his A1S. 40 seconds left, and Imperial taking control of this round. But they need to push forward and secure that bomb plant, because all it would take is for one opportunistic moment, and this could come apart the seams, and it seems like it may be happening. 25 seconds, Woxic is downstairs. It's the Galil as opposed to an AK-47, but he may go unchecked. Oh, he's caught in such an awkward spot. I thought he's going to go hide in shadow and line up and potentially get like a double spray down and deny the bomb plant. But I think he second-guessed himself, maybe hearing some sound cues.
Yeah, I think he... When he heard the footsteps of them dropping into ramp, I think he thought it was going to be upper. I think that was the case. He thought it was going to be upper, so he immediately just comes out. And then when he realizes, uh-oh, they're coming towards me, that's when he just gets caught out of position there. That's just so many unfortunate moments here for the CTs. And this is grim, Vince, for Eternal Fire. Their map pick, not able to recreate the magic they had against ENCE, and they've been hunting down. Oh no, Calyx, he needs to stay alive here. They're hunting him down. able to find one, but the trade will take place for burning Calyx alive. 15-7, nothing will be saved. The money is virtually non-existent as well. Just pistols for Woxic and his men, and I feel like this one's pretty much done. Tactical timeout getting called by Eternal Fire, but what do you do?
I wish I had an answer for them, but I'm just somewhat shocked, a bit stunned. I assume that they are too, because, I mean, coming into Nuke, of what we've seen, especially the previous performance from Eternal Fire against ENCE, and you said to me they were going to lose this map, I'd be like, all right, well, maybe a couple players just go nuclear. It's a super close game. Maybe OT, maybe like 16-14. Mate, they've been absolutely crushed. 7 rounds, and they won the first pistol. They've been completely outplayed at every given turn, and it has been a team effort again. It hasn't been Imperial resting off like a crazy performance off Fur or Fallen. This has been everybody pulling their weight, everybody chipping in.
Woxic has opted to go for the... It's not even a glass cannon. What do you call this guy with that armor? Glass... stick? I don't know. It's not a cannon, so like, what's the smaller version of a cannon? A gun? Glass gun? No, that doesn't work. Glass stick, let's go with that. And Fallen catches Antares. Has been having a bit of a mare towards the outside position, and they weren't expecting Fur there, but okay! Might be a stick, but it's a pretty big stick in the hands of Woxic. Takes care of Fur. Still not looking good here. They won't be able to retrieve the rifle, so they will still have to just stick with the pistols and that UMP and a scout.
I saw Woxic have a ton of impact early on. That shot springs to mind that he landed from heaven to vents. Allows him to run and gun with that weapon. The right idea with the spray, just slightly off. May get punished, does get punished by Calyx, who's able to retrieve that AK, but Fallen will deny him taking it any further in this round. And xFloud, with the UMP of all weapons, has to try and traipse back down onto the B site, which is being planted on right now, courtesy of bolts. It is looking incredibly likely that Imperial will not just win the choice of Eternal Fire, but do it in style and make it look easy in the process. And looking at the stats for Mirage, Imperial will feel very confident going into their choice of map. xFloud's able to upgrade that UMP to an AK-47, but he has no kit or nades to play with. There's no kit around him either. He has to get these kills right now. He can't afford to play slow. Even if he gets some kills, it's still going to be gone. Has to push in, and that's going to be Fallen, taking him down.
Choice of side, and they're going to be starting on a CT side. xFloud, who did struggle a little bit on Nuke, will have the kit and the smoke for his team.
He sure will. Ooh, not too far off, landing the headshot there. Woxic 10 taken off of him. Will be backing away from the connector side. Meanwhile, smokes down on Catwalk. Allows Emor to try and escape, but it's FNX that opens up. Breaks the deadlock. Emor with one. Can maybe pick up a second, but he must realize this T's spilling out of the B-apps. Woxic is holding it down. It is such a chaotic round right now. They need to find some clarity in all of this chaos. They need to be able to lock this one down, Eternal Fire. It's so important for their confidence, for the momentum. And Fur and Vinny are stripping it away with their Glock and USP. And now Calyx, the man that struggled to carry his team in the last round, is getting destroyed by Fur. An Imperial win, yet another pistol.
I love that final peek there, Ben. So 1v3, they're like, we're just gonna swing him together. Unfortunate for Calyx, and two of the players there on the bomb side, they were so very low, even in the 3v3. And Imperial off to a rocking start here. And FNX is leading the charge. He was in monstrous form. Emor, there was a chance there for him to at least get a kill, but then the pincer coming in from apartments, and almost a team ace there. Fair getting the 2k, as it is going to be the force buy for the CTs. Calyx able to get the trade onto towards bolts, but He has taken quite a bit of damage. Oh, and unfortunately, Woxic out of the open, Fallen running in through the edge of the smoke as it fades away. Does Zentaris have is that a PP? It is a PP Bison.
Oh yes, he most certainly has his hands on the Bison. Not a weapon you see a great deal, and for good reason, if we're being honest.
PP Bison goes. It doesn't do any damage, Vince. It's just the worst SMG.
Hey, it has a lot of bullets, man, so it must be good. Forehead.
Are you in the dualies camp as well?
Well, the thing is, the dualies are actually legit, though. Whereas the Bison really isn't.
Well, the Deagle for xCloud and Fallen able to find Zentaris, and ooh, xCloud dealing damage. That's all they'll find. Calyx far away, and Fer was waiting for him to cross his crosshairs. Couple of casualties there for Imperial, but they're going to be happy with the way that one played out. Just losing, I do believe, the two SMGs. And the PP Bison getting absolutely nothing done, as we all expected.
No way. Bison being trash.
Who would have thought?
Imperial 2-0 up to the good, though, and Eternal Fire on the back foot with pistols. They do have some Deagles and P250s, a flashbang as well, and they're looking to stack 4 players over on the B side. And they're up against 5 AKs. No SMGs remain, which I suppose could be a blessing in disguise, because it'll, assuming that Imperial do win this round, it's hard to see how they won't, the way they've been playing today. But at least they won't be rinsing through any more cash at alarmingly fast rates. Eternal Fire, though, having a lot of confidence in Calyx's ability to hold the site by himself. And as you mentioned, I mean, he was pretty much the only shining light. You know, I was saying before there was very few positives to take from that nuke performance. He was one of them, especially in that T-half. I think at one point he was like 9-1 or 9-2 before things went horribly wrong.
We're going to find out if he's going to be able to replicate that. Bit of a stack here. But spins around. That's information gained. And immediately his remaining teammates pounce onto the bomb site. Just the one gun lost. 3-0 for Imperial. And only a kill apiece for each and every one of the members of Eternal Fire here. Now is when they start to try and mount this comeback. If I say comeback, I'm talking about the map. It's still very early days here, but the fact that they are a map down. If it does go to Vertigo, though, I feel that is very 50-50, Vince. I feel Eternal Fire are a very capable Vertigo team, despite the fact they did lose to ENCE. But then again, you know, ENCE top 3 team in the world. Oh, the timing there from Woxic. Thought he just might have found the kill, but misses by a whisker. As Zentaris able to find Vinny, but the trade is immediate.
The other side now with flashes coming. Thinking fast, FNX. Once again, that's his first death on this map. 5 kills already picked up for the veteran. And Fallen, speaking of veterans, it doesn't get more tenured than this man. And he's showing that after all of these years, he's still up there. He's still capable of just slapping away players left and right. He had some phenomenal rounds on Nuke as well. And xCloud does get one, surprisingly. I thought he was a goner there. Fer had the drop on him. And that should allow him to save the AK, which, I mean, it's a pretty decent silver lining, all things considered. It won't stop the fact that Imperial are going to have a 4-0 lead, though. And when Fallen is feeling it like this, when he's having one of these games, or one of these series, I should say, I'm not sure Woxic is going to be able to keep him under control. Because it's like what Yanko was saying before. Fallen, he doesn't just have like good aim, good reaction speed, etc. He just has a ridiculously solid read of the game. It seems like he knows where everyone is. He understands the movement. He's been there so many times before. He's like calculating constantly where the enemies are coming from.
Oh, absolutely. Like, you go back to his heydays of when he was that incredible operator. At one point in time, one of the best operators in the world as well, while IGLing, right? So when you've been doing that pretty much your entire playing career at the highest levels while winning majors at the same time, it is so ingrained inside of you that it's kind of like the meme of that woman just looking left and right and the numbers and, like, you know, math figures just floating past your face. That is pretty much Fallen. Like, he's able to, and you don't need to know him personally. Like, obviously Yanko has a closer relationship with these guys, but you don't have to necessarily know him personally to know how he approaches the game, right? How he is able to individually kind of like isolate these duels, isolate the map into little pockets and make it work for him. But then, as an IGL, if he's able to kind of propagate that knowledge to his teammates as well, so absolutely, Fallen can get going. Could be terrifying. The only criticism, perhaps, which could be levied his way would be the fact that he's no longer the Fallen of old. And when I say that, I mean with his opping prowess, right? But still, there are times where it reminds us why he was one of the most dangerous forces in the server with a scoped rifle.
And it also goes to show just how good he was in the past, where we say, like, he might not be at his prime anymore. But even on a fairly off day, he's still capable of going toe-to-toe with most AWPers on the planet. And if he's having a good day, then they're going to struggle to contain him. So his B or C level is still good enough to compete with most teams. 25 seconds to play with, though, and they need to pick up the pace. Two big entries. Vinny and FX going in head first. Another frag comes down, and Imperial, man alive, that was looking like it could get a little bit scrappy, but then they just come out, get out the shovel, get out the spade, and just bury Eternal Fire again. And it didn't seem like they had any chance. Like, not only was it the round picked up in the last 15 seconds, 3 hit points were lost in that journey. First lost 3, that's it.
That's what I was about to point out as well. 3 HP lost there. They are looking terrifying. Oh no, Woxic, he's been spotted. And his days, it's numbered. Just a scout though, so it's okay. They have money now. I don't imagine he was going to be sticking around with it, even if he had saved it. So the op's going to come out once more. I love the simultaneous strike as well. You look at the kill feed as well, right? The way it was just filling up simultaneously, all the kills taking place in a span of just 3 or 4 seconds. Imperial firmly on fire. Now the real test comes in. Off for Woxic, hold by for everyone else, and Woxic's trying to be brave, but he's out in the open and is lucky to be alive. He was blind. Thanks to his teammates, is able to fall back. But speaking of teammates, Emor will meet his maker.
Yeah, unfortunately, Emor has not been at that level that we saw in their first game against ENCE. He has been a shadow of that performance. Again, we weren't expecting him to really put any kind of huge numbers up, which is why that performance was so surprising and really stood out from the crowd. But Imperial, now moving over to this B side, is 2 players here and a third. Was thinking about rotating in, but Woxic instead was moving over to the A site. They think this could still be A. xFlower with 1, and a second. The spray is good, and in the blink of an eye, they've actually picked up their first round out of nowhere.
Eternal Fire there. I like what they did though, right? Like, they lose a player towards mid, and then immediately they're like, you know, screw this. We're just going to be playing a little bit more total up on the bomb sites. Calyx doing the opening duel. And xFlower, great position there. Just pre-firing around the corner. Brilliant stuff to find a 3K. The moment he gets the first kill, he's like, all right, I just can't just sit here. They're going to molly me off, or they're just going to trade me. I'm just going to go out swinging. He doesn't go out at all. He just swings and hits, connects onto every one of the players coming in from the apartments. First round here on board for Eternal Fire. But because of the fashion in which Imperial have been winning their rounds, these sequence of rounds they found, buy is going to be very comfortable. Vinny with the SG, and even after the buy, Vince, they have extra funds to work with. Bolton 44, yep. Fallen with 3100, even with the AWP buy, and a full set of utility as well to deploy.
Exactly, that's it, isn't it? There's no easy rounds here, there's no gimmies. Eternal Fire gonna have to fight and scrap 2 or 3 more rounds to fully break Imperial, you have to think. And then in the back of their mind, they also know if they concede this round, it just gets so uncomfortable. Zantara is an important frag, does lose a chunk of his health, but does stand his ground all the same. And Imperial, fairly one-dimensional. 3 players over here. They did see the arm and the smoke come out from xFlower, but not able to connect his Fallen as he's blinded off from the smoke screen. Woxic still peering into Palace. Mid-control is by and large going in favor of Imperial, but it is only Vinny with the aforementioned SG. And he's going to be peeking into Woxic. Oh no, Woxic backs off the jungle. They trade weapons so Woxic can go back into connector again. But this timing could work against them. Vinny can now post up.
He's heard the reload as well, Vince. But Vinny doesn't check, though. This is weird. This is messy. What is this, man? He somehow finds Woxic. This is so awkward. But here comes hit towards B.
Emo sprays in. Vinny is still making a real nuisance out of himself over on the A side of the map, and now moving across as well. Fallen knows he just has to wait for Vinny to have impact on Catwalk. He knows a player is here. That will be relayed. Emo's on low HP. Finished off now. Now Fallen can turn his attention towards the site. 20 seconds on the clock, though, and the bomb spilled out in an awkward spot. Vinny's also low, 22 HP. Flashbang is good. It does stall this a little bit longer. They also have the cross with an AWP, but Fallen connects. 10 seconds to go. Do they realize xFloud is here? If they didn't before, now they do. But Fallen has to put this bullet down range. He needs this AK to work out, and he clutches with 5 seconds. The AWP, the AK, it doesn't matter. Smacking them away with the back of his hand.
If there was ever a perfect example of composure under pressure, there it is from Fallen. He knew what both the players were. He didn't budge at all. He just crosshairs, trained in the position of short. Firstly, okay, great stuff from Vinny, by the way, mind you, getting those 2 kills towards A. But the fact that Fallen just waited patiently for his teammate to find him, he waits for Xantares to peek on in, and with 5 seconds, no panic, not even trying to go for the plant, picks up the AK-47 and clutches it out for his team. The professor showing how it's done. And there was such an important round there, Vince, as Vinny comes charging in. He's just run on pass. He just holds W and somehow spins around. Tries to take down Emor, who is lucky to be alive at 2 HP. And he will find Fallen.
That's a good idea that FNX is also here, especially with that flashbang going up. He's going to be peeking around slowly, misses his shot. Won't be punished. Yes, he will. Bolt goes out for the repeak. They double prong it. There is a rotation through from xFloud. Xantares just needs to hold his position and let xFloud do the rest. Nade lands onto Xantares. Oh, Bolt's had the right idea, but the timing is off. He's going to repeat this again. He will, and removes the head of xFloud. And now that opens up the rest of the map. They know that Xantares is pincered in on the CT side. They have Fur to go and hunt and seek and destroy him. And in the meanwhile, Bolts is headed to the B side. That kill was everything for this round.
The awareness from Bolts. And yeah, the only avenue of... See, he's actually going to be planning for market as well, because he knows the Fur is lying in wait here. So what does Xantares do? He's got a kit. With the DOP, it's tempting. He's going to hold on to this, Vince. Round's done. Imperial 7-1. Even if it felt like Emor had done enough on 2 HP as well, able to find Fallen, but in the end, it's just not good enough. Bolts, 2 quick kills. And this is the round. This is the kill, rather. And there you have it, been 7-1. Imperial, they keep marching on, and for Eternal Fire, sure. I mean, the weapon is saved, but it's not great. Max loss bonus here, 3,400, but it's not enough for a full-fledged buy. So I'm assuming just some light pistols, some armor being purchased, and hoping this AWP in the hands of Xantares could be dropped towards Woxic, might get something done.
Tactical timeout called now on Eternal Fire, and I know this is going to be an answer that's going to be a grey area. It's going to be a bit of column A and a bit of column B, Blair, but to pick your brain here, man, we got a bit of downtime. How much of this is Imperial performing just to the top level, as good as we can really see from them? And how much of this is Eternal Fire just having an awful day? Because I honestly feel like they just lost in this game. They have been both maps.
I think it's both. Firstly, like, there's nothing too convoluted in how Imperial are approaching this T set, or well, both the maps, to be honest. But for Eternal Fire, it's like there's nothing really being done. This isn't Mirage of 2014-15. You need to be a bit more proactive. You need to be a bit more disruptive. Imperial getting just so much of map control time and time again. That's something they need to avoid. Xantares has dropped the offer Woxic here, Vince. And he's going to be going for the Hero M4. The rest of them pistols and MP9 in play. Bit of a buy. And Woxic from the short position, good enough to find Vinny. This is much more like it from the CTs. You can see how aggressive they're being here, but again, you're isolated. Emor's alone. There's no flash to help him out. Fur catches Calix as well. Isolated duels being taken. If you've invested in this round, you have that op saved, you have that M4, try and work together. And despite the opening kill gifted by Woxic, they immediately snatch it back. Now, the only slim positive here for the side of Eternal Fire is that the two big guns are still in play, but it's all about timing. The Woxic, the timing works out wonderfully. Fallen will be taken down and bringing it down to a 3v3.
We do have a flash though, and that is in one of the players in the B apps. Meanwhile, Fur lurks in, probably not anticipating second player, but still spray is good onto xFloud. And they would have heard, they know that Woxic was last seen on B, and FNX takes his head clean off. Imperial, 8-1 lead, and yeah, that was a bit of a head scratcher. When you consider that Emor is the IGL as well, Blair, so that was by design. That's basically what he wanted to run this round. They got the pick, he pushes up mid, dies, and it feels like any advantage they had from that point just slipped away. And it felt a bit unnecessary.
Well, it was still a light investment though, right? They still will be able to bring out the op for Woxic, so fair enough. They're able to get a couple of kills, but still not good enough. First 10 and 4. Again, the kill spread for Imperial. It's nice. It's real nice. Vinny's the lowest fragger, but we saw the impact he was finding. Go back to that round where it was just him and Fallen, and the way he was able to get 3 kills with the SG as well. So 6 kills sure, but all impact kills. Fallen 8, FNX and 8, Bolts and 7. And Fur, as usual, Fur Monster 10 and 4. Mirage is a map where he's found incredible success throughout his long and storied career. But here we go, Vince. Another buy here for Eternal Fire. And once more, right? Just a static hold coming in. I'm not saying that's necessarily the wrong play, but they've done this time and time again, and it hasn't really worked out for them. You have xFloud just jump spotting towards B. He's the small side player. You have Emor nearby as well. But they have no control towards mid, no eyes on mid. There's only Xantares towards connector waiting for anyone to peer him, but no one's going to just take a 50-50 duel with him. They're going to be peeking him together as Imperial to slow things down. Even Imperial's expecting some sort of early aggression or some sort of early disruption being thrown their way from Eternal Fire, but it's not taking place, it's not transpiring. So after the first 40 seconds have elapsed, they start to congregate together towards the A bomb site. They have 2 players, one towards mid, and you have Fur in underpass looking to get the flank as well. Nate will sail in though, but it will do no damage.
Good news though on Eternal Fire is they've done a pretty good job of keeping most of their utility centralized, and they still have 2 incendiaries left. With 35 seconds to go, if they can get early intel and throw down this molly, things will get interesting. But Calix goes in for the peak on ramp, and Fallen from above just drops down, nails him, and gives him a real hope. This puts Xantares in a horrific position. He's stuck in the middle of nowhere. He needs help, and Woxic is going to alleviate a little bit of that pressure. 18 seconds to go, but Xantares has been found and fragged. Beautiful flick from Woxic, but he's now alone. Oh, Woxic is landing every shot. Oh, Woxic clutches out. They needed a hero play. They needed something to spur them on, and that could be the catalyst.
It's the ace as well, Vince. He did everything by his lonesome. But that is not sustainable. That's not how you're gonna win more rounds. Great stuff from Woxic though. Some nasty shots being hit by him. He wasn't really getting harassed by any utility either. Just being given the opportunities to take these fights, and of course he's going to win them, but still, like, they lose everyone else. So you have, they win the round, but they still have the FAMASs in play, and MP9 and xFloud, he's getting pressured again.
So many flashes. He's bypassed most of them though in the smoke. Bit of damage done as well. Position is known though, and he gets swept in. Oh, this just feels like deja vu. They get a crazy play, they get around, and they instantly get pummeled as the Brazilians bulldoze onto the site. B is theirs, and Eternal Fire want no part of this. They back off to save their weapons, tail tucked between their legs. And it's just the same story again, Blair. It's an individual moment of brilliance, and then nothing of substance to follow it up.
They've won 2 rounds, of which the second round was Woxic getting an ace and a 1v3. Like, great highlight moment. It's going to be in the highlight reel. That's about it. What a call from Imperial as well. Just a fast play towards B, and if you if you happen to glance at the minimap, you'll realize xCloud was alone. There was no one in the vicinity. Not a single player. And Emor, sure, able to get a kill, but he was down to 4 HP, barely escaping. Now, they have money to buy a couple of M4s and drop it. They will have decent bit of utility as well, but Vince, 9-2. 4 rounds remain in this half. This is Eternal Fire trailing a map, losing their map, they're getting annihilated on Nuke, and here comes a faster play again towards A this time around. And Calyx, good for one. The 2 CTs grouped up together, and Calyx is burning alive. He's all alone now, isolated. Oh, what a shot!
Oh, Calyx, that's naughty. That's the bomb that spills down as well. And he did land a dink, mind you, onto Bolts. He did so much damage in this round. He's had a slow start, but that was a hell of a time to pick things up. This round is far from over, though. Yes, Bolts is low, but Fur is healthy. Fur is hungry. And that bloodlust has not been satiated just yet. Trying for the jump peak, trying to draw some fire out, noticing that CT is by and large clear. But the bomb drop is a problem. It's in the middle of nowhere. They have to go across connector in order to get there, and Fur will be silenced down by Xantares. A Bolt's on a measly 10 HP is unlikely to get much out of this. He did just catch a glimpse of Woxic crossing. He saw the knee as it went from right to left, but Emor from CT will put him down.
More of that needed. This time Calyx. Again, it's all on Calyx, right? He was alone on this side. The 3rd kill of the events. This is a thing of beauty. Mid-air. Headshot. It's plastering the wall with the viscera of his opposition. And finally, they managed to break the money here. Vinny's got an R8. I'm just saying. I just have to point it out. He's got an R8 again, Vince.
Yeah, we saw this in their previous game as well, didn't we? And it yielded absolutely nothing. So we were wondering if it was a bit of a troll pick, if it was maybe a mistake. Nope. Seems like he's legitimately in love with the R8. Not sure if we need to stage an intervention for you, Vinny. I'm down to try and help you out, brother, because I don't know why you're picking that gun. I'll watch him just absolutely wreck someone with it. I've said that.
So yesterday, so day before yesterday, when he saw him with the revolver, we thought maybe he had forgotten to equip the deagle, perhaps, right? It happens at times. Sometimes you're just memeing around in matchmaking or something. But now that it's here again, it's definitely, he means it. And listen, if you kill someone with that, that is something just going to stick around for a while. But Woxic, oh, that's why you have the deagle. That's why you have the deagle, Vinny. Woxic will fall, and Emor position known. This is rough. This is rough for Emor. He's going to be hunted down as well. Not like this. Xantares next flogged do reply back. And now FNX has picked up the R8. What's going on?
Well, he had a good performance in the first map. He's not going to get any kills here, though. And now Fallen on 1 HP with the deagle is going to go down with the round. It is a plant. But Eternal Fire are going to secure a 4th.
It doesn't matter how they get it, Vince. As long as they get these rounds, they're just going to be thankful. I just hope we never get to see the R8 again, ever. that looks scary, though, right? Like, they got the 2 opening picks, and there was no utility, no smoke or a Molotov or window, which allowed a lot of the kills to come in from the market position. Some signs of life. 3 rounds in the past 4 going the way of the Turkish side. An ultimate round now of the first half. Going to be coming in again. Gotta bear in mind that was just the pistol armor upgrade here. Fallen, is he going to be expecting the play towards underpass? No, he's not. As Emor will strike. Xantares close by as well, as Foot tries desperately to get a trade.
Oh, some great maneuverability. Just out positioning Imperial, who had no idea. And I tell you what, if Eternal Fire, all things considered, can get 6 rounds in this half, which is looking pretty likely, if they can take this one down, Imperial will have a very poor buy. then there is a way back in. It looked so grim, so bad, so bleak. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking this might already be done. But if they can get 6, Blair, I will begin to believe. Because we know their T side is decent. Calyx, in the meanwhile, though, going to go on for the wide swing. But he seems to have a good idea to this coming up. Does nail him, but at the cost of a lot of HP. He's now down to 34. And Woxic is aiming towards him from the stairs. Misses his shot, but now they can just go ahead and go for this flank behind with xFloud coming up with the AK. And 2 players positioned on the sites, and Antares and Woxic laid in wait. And that smoke doesn't really do him any favors in trying to traverse across to the murky waters of the A plant. 30 seconds now on the clock, and xFloud is sneaking his way step by step behind. Antares keeps shoulder peeking. Vinny caught between 2 minds. How has he got that kill? Molly now tossed in. This is where xFloud's going to put an end to this round. If not Woxic, who just sneaks in before. So Eternal Fire do pick up 5 and have a chance at maybe 6.
Finally, it does look like Eternal Fire have woken up a bit, Vince, and it's about damn time. And if all came off that ace from Woxic, if that was a catalyst, maybe that's what was needed. We saw the hole from Calyx as well on that A bomb site, so the individuals waking up, able to win these rounds convincingly, but they want to ensure that Imperial, they get no more 9 rounds on the T side of Mirage here. That's more than enough already for Imperial. They'll be looking for more. Brazilians known for not just letting things be, not being content with what they have. As they gather up for this A hit, smokes will bloom. Emor gonna re-smoke off Palace. It's gonna be sticking around for as long as possible. Gonna try and time the spray inside of the ramp, but won't find anything. There's a bit of a gap there though for Woxic to take advantage of, and Xantaras playing at the edge. No Molotov to prevent him from pushing in through the smoke, able to take down Vinny.
His pistol still though in play with the AK-47. They can bridge some of these gaps, but it's more along the lines of having no utility left, really, after this smoke clears. They have nothing to try and fend off the CT side. They got a flashbang, but that's really it. Players perched up on stairs, jungle, 3 of them, in fact, and a 4th watching from catwalk. They need someone to go huge, and it doesn't look likely for caught last. An Eternal Fire. Yes, they'll trail by 6 to 9, but considering how bad that started, this really isn't such a bad outcome, all things considered.
Yeah, it could have been so much worse. It could have been so much worse, Vince. So yeah, they managed to win 5 of the final 6 rounds, including a 4-round streak. So they're going to be happy with that. Good job as well. Even though the execute came in from Imperial, they were able to just abuse these little gaps in the smoke, the lack of a Molotov for bench. And it wasn't just Woxic having to, you know, he got that ace, but apart from that, I feel like Xantaras and Calyx as well has been pretty impactful overall. Everyone's been chipping in actually for both the sides. Obviously, Imperial, they have the 3-round lead, so they're feeling more comfortable. Here's Fallen, all alone. D250 against a very dangerous man that is Woxic. Against Xantaras, that is. We've seen how dangerous it could be. I feel Fallen's days are numbered here. And this can someone pull off the escape. And what is that from Fallen? Just a running headshot onto Calyx. But now the A bomb side, it's getting pressured.
Oh, FNX is in so much trouble here. He's got players all around him. Needed 1 at least. Another player in CT though is going to be coming on in. Some damage done. Not enough to deny the bomb plant though. And Woxic will punish bolts. In the meanwhile, Fallen's gone down alongside Vinny. An Eternal Fire now only 2 rounds behind, and a great chance to bridge the gap further.
All they need to do right now is just work off this bit of a momentum they've built themselves, right? 4 in a round to close out the first half. Now winning an important pistol round despite what was a ludicrous shot coming out from Fallen there. It's just a full eco here. R8 out again for Vinny. He gets a kill! He gets a kill, Vince! He gets a kill with the R8. There we go. He's finally done it.
This is a couple of pistols upgrade, and it's down to a 2-on-2, and they have an AK. I am so perplexed as to what the hell just happened in middle, but we have to focus on the here and now because Antares and Calyx, what we assumed was going to be a trajectory straight back into this, and it still could be, as Antares has found Vinny, caught him in the back. That's the AK that goes down with him, and the USP is going to be the last to fall. But the fact that Imperial even took that down to a 2-on-2 is just lunacy.
It's the magic of the R8. I am now a believer. Vinny proving us wrong, but yeah, just good shots coming out. The USPs. Vinny gets a 1 kill, but everything else was just a USP, just tapping away. No utility getting deployed there by Eternal Fire, just looking to take the deals. They're like, yeah, just have probably pistols maybe. Just go for the dry swing, and they get punished for it, Vince. And it's reflecting in this buy here. X5 with Galil, Nemore with the MAC-10. The rifles out for the CTs. Flash is beautiful from Fallen, and Vinny, oh, he's just gonna get the first as Bolts pushes on ahead, and that's gonna force the hand of Eternal Fire. They have to go for this 8 hit, but there are 4 CTs lying in wait.
Oh, what a shot from Calyx. He flicks to the head of Bolts. Gives him a chance. Gives them a window of opportunity. And X-Cloud is spraying in with a Galil. Gonna get caught in the open though. And down he will fall. Imperial regain their 2-round lead off some shenanigans up middle. And this is really where that previous round is going to catch up with Eternal Fire now, Blair. Their money is in the bin. This is why you've got to get those rounds cleanly. You can't afford to lose 3 players.
Still though, you got to remember, for the same thing for Eternal Fire as well. Against just the USPs and the R8, they lost 3 members, Vince. And it came down to an SMG and a Galil for a couple of those players. So yeah, take a look at that buy. It's not great. It is not great at all. So Scout there, another Galil, maybe a Deagle being purchased just so they can eke out a bit of utility. Zemore, he's doing a lot of the talking. So I guess we were right that he has taken over IGLing duties. Which I'm actually a fan of, right? Like, we know how good Walks can be with the AWP. And I feel like the calling duties has shackled him for far too long in this team. So now he needs to deliver here. AK-47 entrusted for him. And there's no utility. There's nothing for the T's. X-Floud, Deagle, no armor. 2 AKs, Emor with the Scout, and they're just gonna go in dry. What is this from Eternal Fire?
Oh, Faller, that's a whiff nade. It's softened him up, but he still stands his ground. And now Fur comes in, helps out his IGL. Oh, and Fallen maybe doesn't need any help after all. 3 kills. That first flick that he landed, by the way, was absolutely outrageous. And a huge reason as to why they were able to hold on to the shadow position. And as Antares out into the open, beautiful headshot. Laser precision, beams Vinny away. But there is a second CT also rummaging round the back. And I doubt that Antares realizes that this is a possibility. So as slow as he wants to play this on ramp, he obviously has to retrieve that bomb. Fur is completely content for this round to go on another 10-15 seconds. We might even see a knife. Antares is about to get shanked. Or perhaps not. Bit of respect being shown there against Antares. You don't want him to turn around and then just beam you in the head. So Imperial secure that one, keep 3 players alive, and take a 3-round lead.
You don't want to take chances against Antares, Vince. Like, that is one guy, if you have a chance to put a bullet in his head, you do it right there. But it's not just me going insane, right? They had no utility. That was a forced buy with not one flashbang, no nade, no smoke, no incendiary, not even a decoy. That just seems like almost like a rage matchmaking buy. And look, I don't know, like, that is relying purely on winning those duels, and you don't even have the right weaponry. You have, like, what I think it was a couple of AKs there, Scout, Deagle. Yeah. So you don't even have the weaponry. So, like, if you have the AKs, you're like, fine, screw it. You can just take the fights, but not even the weapons. That being said, though, oh, this is messy. Bolts. Oh,
That's a spray he's gonna want to forget real quick. But he'll be able to put that to the back of his mind, assuming that his teammates can clean this one up. HE's got damage written all over it. That could be a kill. That's going to be 2 kills. Dunk from FNX. to the forehead of Calix and Xantares. And Bolts, he can cheer off from the sidelines like, what spray? What are you talking about? We won the round. It's all good. 12-8.
Nothing happened. No one saw that. It's all good in the hood. That couldn't have been even more perfect there. Well, Eternal Fire trailing by 4 now, Vince. They won the pistol, won the second, quite a cost, but ever since then, Imperial. Oh, bit of a misjump there for Fallen. He might need help. Flashbang up high. Still gonna stick on around below. This is brave. There's no one there to really challenge. Oh, the shot that was so very close from Fallen. He's still looking for more. He is feeling it, is Fallen. But unfortunately, no one to find. But look at the flank. Look at your minimap. Look at where Fur is. This is already looking like a disaster for Eternal Fire.
Yeah, that affords Fallen the luxury of actually rotating straight across the B side. And this flank is paying off for the time being as HG connects and now Fallen and Bolts both activate. Get themselves in amongst the blood. AK picked up though from xCloud, who's keeping this one, but the bomb's been spotted. The bomb's back on the deep angle towards T-spawn. Fur has this locked down. Even if Calix gets the kill here, it won't end up mattering. And Fallen, of course, he passes with flying colors because he's playing out of his mind right now.
This is looking a little rough, I have to say. And just the sheer the nerve on Fur just walk on in that early in the round as well. They're just everything's going their way. Not only are Imperial playing pretty solid CS here, but it's like even some of those 50-50 duels, some of the just spams through the smoke, everything is clicking for them. Third tactical timeout getting called for the side of Eternal Fire. As you take a look at the Brazilians first, just trying to quickly sort out maybe some issues for FNX and a PC. But they look very calm. They look very calm. No need to get over excited. It's taking it round after round. And why not? This has been clinical from the Brazilians. Every single round, apart from the pistol and the eco round, has been won by them. And now the 3 away from knocking out Eternal Fire. A half purchase coming in here. An interesting half purchase. Calix is in 0.
2 scouts on the T side.
Some of these buys from Eternal Fire have been a bit of head scratch. You know what? I'm just gonna leave it for Yanko and Kassad to break down some of the buying decisions, some of the economic decisions being made by Eternal Fire here on this T side, because maybe their Gigabrains can break this one down, because I just don't see it. It's just hampering them. Sure, you'll have the loss bonus coming the next round, but don't you want that little bit of extra cash? So every one of your teammates have some weapons to work with here. Give yourselves a fair chance. Well, Xantares is not going to give a fair chance to Bolts. Will pluck his head, and that's the only AK-47 in play. And Xantares, he's saying he wants to do everything by himself. 2 kills already. And even though I might have had a few questions about this buy, Xantares is still making it work.
There's no questions about the result, is there? 2 big entries, and that will alleviate some of the pressure on the rest of his teammates. However, the time is starting to get a little bit on the low side. So with just about 30 seconds left, they're going to make a decision. Fallen with the AWP from Tollbooth forces Emor to pay the price. But Xantares is straight back in with one of his own. FNX now trying to take the initiative, take this little opportunity. Removes the head of Woxic. Shows his hand though, 15 seconds to play with, and Fallen could have Xantares dead to rights. Fallen with the deagle, pulls it out the sidearm, removes the head, clatters in. And this was such a good round for Eternal Fire, a golden chance to get their 9th. But as it stands, they may be about to slip away again. Fallen, right idea, player on triple, but he's trying to look towards the ramp, and Calix will warden him off. FNX next up, next to fall, next to drop. Eternal Fire get their 9th, but again, it's another one that they have to fight so hard for.
What a round from Xantares, though, right? Like, if there's one guy you want to give that one AK-47 you have, it's him. Huge openings there. Although I feel like first, the second, I think it was Fur was the second player there. He really shouldn't have peeked after loses his first teammate. There's no need to, because that was a very delayed attempt at the trade there. And despite the heroics of Fallen, he was hitting some blinders as well, Vince. But it's not to be. As Eternal Fire found himself a tiny bit of a lifeline here. Still trailing by 4 rounds, but they have managed to force Imperial to go for just the pistols, and once more the infamous R8 in the hands of Benny. Look at Fallen, though, pushed in very deep inside of Palace. See, here's a flashbang getting deployed, but he's conveying information to his teammates. It's like, there's no one in Palace. And I just heard only one of the nades being thrown in. Stay in B. Just hold on to the stack.
It's again where Fallen's experience, his 6th sense, really comes to the forefront. If they end up trying to hit A, and he manages to neutralize xFloud with the bomb, drops it in an awkward spot, this could be gigantic for Imperial. And he's heard him jumping up and down. He could go in for the peek. He'll at least see the bomb. You'll have to assume, call out to the rest of the teammates who are now rotating in. At Fallen's position, he's going to be in this flank so quick. Even if they think a flank is possible, they don't expect it to hit this fast. He wishes he had a deagle at this point, but the P250 up close is going to be able to neutralize one player, but not a second. Nice effort from Fallen. The R8's got its 2nd kill of the map. It's outrageous.
2 kills for the R8. I don't think I'm sure it's happened in the past, but usually in a show match, maybe?
Further may get the drop with this deagle. Or not. He gets dropped himself. Imperial, their lead has been dropped down to 3, but here comes another buy.
This is a test again here for Eternal Fire. I just, every time Betty takes out an R8, I love it and I hate it in equal measure. But here we go. Buy coming out once more. Fallen with his AWP. Fallen has been sharp as hell in this map. Very, very sharp indeed. 22 kills for him. The only one to have cracked the 20 kill barrier apart from Xantares in the server. And you can already see with how Imperial move around this map on the CT side. It's such a stark difference as to what we saw from the CT, from the T's on their turn to defend. And here comes push, and this is looking rough. And indeed, the wild flick shot though from Vinny won't get the kill, but the bombs dropped at the feet of the CTs. And Fur is a monster. He's gonna get a kill. He even has time to go for the reload, and it's all on Woxic 1v3.
Surrounded as well. Has the luxury of having full HP, but that's about it. On Fur's up on. He makes a noise. He drops down. That gives Woxic the chance. He then goes on the drive by Dig. Flicks across. My goodness, that was close. He could have feasibly pulled that off. That would have been outrageous. But instead, Eternal Fire fall short.
They still can eke out a decent buy here. This was a double op setup coming out from Imperial. And the whole, right, there was actually a window there because Eternal Fire actually caught Imperial in the process of kind of rotating and moving around their pieces on the B bomb side, but still, good recovery there. Nice hold. And valiant attempt from Woxic as well. He has been pretty impressive as well, but will it be in a losing effort? That's a question. It's a big gap. Oh, that's a big gap. Eventually, smoke's going to fade away. Is Emor going to check? Oh, this should be a free kill. Surely it's a free kill, and indeed it is. Emor able to find Fur, and that's connected control. Fallen going to try and get the trade here, and indeed he will. Woxic to fall, but Xantares immediately puts him down as well.
Oh, this map may continue to give some extra opportunities to Eternal Fire, but Bolts is snatching the life away of Calyx. Drops him on the deck. Eternal Fire still have to repel this push. They've already annulled the marriage between the CTs and the A site. Now Emor Up close has already got the drop on one player. Sprays out. The spray is good just before the flash connects. As Antares having ramp is going to facilitate a very solid post plant. It's a nightmare for FNX as he pushes into the palace. It gets smoked. So he's going to be stuck in here for a while, but I believe that smoke was actually tossed in from the CTs. So he's going to use this as a look, and it's worked out flawlessly for him. He doesn't quite secure the second kill, but that grenade could actually seal the deal, but it lands too high on the toll booth. And to be honest, even if it did claim the frag, there was nowhere near enough time on the clock to get this defuse done. So Eternal Fire do live a little bit longer. FNX won't. He gets shut down. So that's an extra weapon they have to rebuy, and in doing so, I mean, do they force here, Blair? Their money is so bad.
There's no need to force here. There is absolutely no need to force here. Even though you have the lead, it can just quickly disappear. Huge frag from Xantares. If Fallen drops onto its ticket without getting traded, then it's so problematic. And I love this play. You said it as well, right? That smoke, I think, was a CT smoke, so they weren't expecting flank to come on in, but it looks like it's going to be a fast hit towards A. Vince, guess who's waiting? It is the op in the hands of Fallen, and they have gone for the force buy. It's a 4-man stack towards A. They could be walking into the blender.
Oh no. Fallen flicks up, connects the shot, but it's not enough for the frag. And he's going to go for that repeat. Felt compelled. He had to do just that. And so far, this force is not paid off. But FNX baits in the frag. He gets one. It wasn't clean enough, though, and Fur misses his chance with the AWP. And Vinny's still over on the B side of the map with the MP9. I just wonder. I mean, the reason I thought they might go in for the force is they had two players around $1,500. And maybe they'd go ahead with that saved AWP. The issue is, with going in for that force buy, you're now looking at a situation where Eternal Fire, they could even tie this up, Blair. It's not as if Imperial are going to have a fantastic buy coming up when they do finally get their hands on the weapons. So this has suddenly got really, really tight.
Svenny can get a kill here. She will. But he should be hunted down here. They're going to take away every single weapon from the hands. Walksick. They're pretty far at the edge of the wall. Was really going to be surviving that one. And yeah, this is grim, isn't it? Now, look, here's the thing. Even if they'd gone for a save, on hindsight, right, because it was just the 1,400 loss bonus, they would still be in a grim situation over here. But the full investment, I don't know. It wasn't a hard call. It was still a hard call to make here for the CTs. But yeah, with $2,200 an average for the players, I'm expecting a full save. Not even like a P250 being purchased, right? Just go for the full save. And Vinny can maybe buy the AWP, if not for Fallen, for himself, because he has been a secondary opera as well. But this is a real window for Eternal Fire to come back into this game.
Nah, man, Blair, this is where Vinny just drops like 4 R8s and we get a full R8 round. Bro.
I like this. I like this. Good restraint. How many times, you know, you play matchmaking game, all right, guys, full eco. And everyone's like, yeah, sure. Then everyone just cheekily buys one P250, one Deagle, right? Like 157, everyone. I do that as well. I'm like, yeah, full eco, totally, man. I'll just buy a P250. And then later on, you're like, shit, I can't buy armor now.
Or you get the classics where you know you're against AKs and all your teammates buy head armor and a kit over nades. You have like 4 kits and no nades. Like, boys, really? What are we doing here? Regardless, though, it is a stack over on the B side, and Emo's found himself one. Taking a bit of damage in the process, but it is the MAC-10, the very much expendable component of this purchase, which is all for the best because Vinny's just nailed him round the corner. There's no reason why they wouldn't try and push in. They have no Kevlars to save. This MAC-10 would grind out a little bit more money, print a bit of cash on the side of Vinny. Calyx has gone in on his teammate, and aim punch a real issue to contend with. So as expected, Eternal Fire will be securing their 13th round. That was a rough one from Bolts. 1 round deficit now though, Blair. And everything to play for. Keep in mind, the loser of this match is eliminated. The winner will go into the deciders match in Group C. Eternal Fire know the importance. They understand how vital it is that they keep themselves in this game. And if they can come back, which would be a phenomenal comeback, all things considered, then we would be heading to Vertigo.
Vinny did manage to get that loss, get the bonus, the kill, which would have allowed him to go for the glass cannon, but instead opts to go for the rifle, which is totally understandable. Eternal Fire actually did a very good job of, like, despite the rounds Imperial were winning, they were hemorrhaging so many players, right? And eventually, once the money got broken, it was in a grim state. Flash is going to pop. There's no one in the sight. Both the players towards short and FNX and Vinny to team up together. So that's a clue for the T's to work with Boltor. This is a very rough spot, but he'll still find one, and he's gonna somehow find himself a semblance of safety. In fact, he does better. He gets a double kill. Bomb's been dropped as well. And once more, it's going to come down to Woxic to go big, and FNX, he hears all of this. He can hear Emor running towards T-Spawn to group up with his teammates, so they can completely leave B, Vince. This looks like it's done. It should be round number 15.
Woxic's still alive, and they still have a minute left, but yeah. For all intents and purposes, this is looking like a foregone conclusion. Bolt up on the boxes again. And that first kill was the definition of an off angle. A spot you really don't expect people to play in because it's so susceptible to being flashed. If a flash lands anywhere on the site, you are fully blinded in that spot. But he made so much out of that position with those 2 kills. And now Imperial have 2 match points, 2 elimination points for the Turkish team of Eternal Fire. I'm not sure what their money situation is like. If they can squeak out a decent buy here, they can. They're fine. They're fine.
Yeah, they're totally fine. But what's worrying is the way Imperial won that round. They took what, 60 points of damage? That's it. Seymour single-handedly trying to show a bit of presence towards top and mid, but they're going back to almost what should be the same thing again. Bolt's playing a dangerous game here as Woxic. Deadly with the AWP. And looking at this play, it is going to end in A. And Fallen with the rifle, he's all alone.
He's had a lot of impact from the shadow position, though. That flash does nothing for Fallen. Takes the kill, falls back, goes back in for seconds. But xFloud is capable of rinsing him away. All 3 of Imperial are moving on CT boxes together. They'll be looking for a boost, I would imagine, up over this smoke. Nade also tossed in towards ramp. Oh, that's a good nade as well. It softened up a couple of plays, but xFloud goes in for more. Bomb spin dropped down onto the site. Still 45 seconds. There's no great rush. The T's can take their time. And you can see from Xantares' viewpoint, he doesn't realize that both players are on the CT side. He's still watching over on the jungle. And that could be a determining factor. They're watching for the rotation now as well from spawn. So making sure they're locking this one down. Especially considering that Fur is on 12 HP. There's very little room for error. Still darting around the side. They can hear the bomb being planted here. Flashbang's going to proceed on that peak. Flashbang not going to do too much. The spray isn't going to land either. And to make matters worse now for Vinny, he's lost his teammate. His partner in crime has been sliced and diced. With the bomb being planted out in the open, it's hard to see how Vinny gets this one done. He's had a good game so far. He has a kit. He has a chance, but that's all it's going to be unless he can take down Woxic from upper, and Woxic will deny him. So we're going the distance here, all 30 rounds.
That was played so very well by Woxic and Xantares. But it all came down to the bomb getting planted, right, Vince? Like, the moment the bomb goes down, that's suddenly now the advantage swinging the favor of the T's. They didn't really have any time to walk their way back to the B bomb side either. And Vinny he's been great throughout, but small little mistake being made by him. By not swinging when the bomb got planted. He could have actually denied the plant there, because I believe Woxic wasn't looking towards ticket boots. So it would have required him to hit a nasty flick. The timing there as Calyx finds Fallen, and they know where Bolt is.
Oh, he's already been tagged so low. Only takes 1 bullet to finish him off. Seems like Imperial coming apart of the seams when it really counts. Vinny tried to get aggressive, gets put down, and now FNX in a 1-on-5. Best Swan, but there's so many more bodies to contend with. successfully gets back into the window. A low emo is maybe an easy target. There's 3 more players that are all very healthy, and it seems like Imperial are about to let a vast lead slip through their fingers. Spray does finalize emo at the cost of 52 hit points though. FNX tries to just spray around every corner, but eventually he's going to run out of ammunition. He's running out of time anyway, and he runs out of health. Eternal Fire take us to OT.
Considering how massive that lead was initially for the side of Imperial, this has been... You have to just applaud Eternal Fire for having the tenacity to just somehow cling on. For those of you tuning in, like you were watching the beginning of this game, this was what, 9-2? Yeah, it was 9-2 for Imperial. 9-2 for Imperial on their T side initially, and then somehow they're able to claw this one back. And despite Imperial getting to round number, I think it was 13 pretty early on, in the past, quick math here, I think it was in the past 8 rounds or something, 6 of them, rather 7 of them out of the past 9 rounds were actually won by Eternal Fire, and that is on the T side as well. They did a great job grinding this one back, and a lot of the credit has to go the way of the 2 big names on this team, right? Xantares. That one round comes to mind just with that weird buy where they had only the AK-47 for Xantares, and like a couple of guys had like a deagle with Kevlar, 2 scouts, and he gets a 3K all alone, pretty much unassisted by his team. 26 kills for him to end this. Actually, no, I think he had like 28 kills to end this regulation, and then Woxic as well, 23 kills for him. And got to go back to that round, that ace clutch which he got, the ace with the 1v3 clutch with the AWP from the ticket booth position. That was a catalyst. That's when Eternal Fire started to wake up and start grinding out the rounds. But right now it's OT, Vince.
Oh yes, OT has come upon us for the 2nd time in the tournament on the A stream, and it's going to be Imperial, who did let that one slip. Take nothing away from Eternal Fire though. Xantares really coming alive, really just picking up the slack and forcing his will on Imperial. Felt like Imperial's T side was way more powerful than their CT side though, and the same can be said for both teams. So it feels like these CT rounds may be even more valuable when it comes to the OT. Sandwich is a position we haven't really seen Imperial utilize just yet. They've played on the shadow a lot of times. We've seen bolts up on the boxes in the ninja position. This is an angle that may go unchecked. Smoke's now being tossed in. All 5 of the T's will be making moves onto the site, and it's down to bolts. How many, if any, kills can he get? And Emo just destroys him from above.
Emo looking to do more as well with the flash through the smoke, and he's able to find one. A 2nd kill for him, but Fur will trade. Xcloud now. He's taking a little bit of damage as well. You can see the tip of that barrel, and the flash comes out, and despite Xcloud waiting for it, Fur somehow managing to take him down to 19 HP he is, but he's tucked on into the corner. Bomb's been spotted as well, and once more, Woxic having to clutch this one out in 1v3, but there's one right next to him. The flick shot, there is no flick. Vinny will finish him off, and Imperial, they get the 1st round here of OT. Eternal Fire, though, it is a 16k buy money rule set for OT, so yeah, buying's not going to be a problem. Buying gun's not really a problem on the with the T side especially here, but a good hold overall coming out from Imperial. But as you said, Vince, the biggest problem here for the side of Imperial is like their T side was great, but the CT side has been slightly lackluster. That being said, they kind of dug themselves into a bit of an economic hole when it came to that, because we go back to the round where they didn't really have too much money. They had to go for the force buy, where I think I actually kind of lost track of the money situation there, but yeah, they had to go for the force buy there around the AWP. They lost that, then they had to go for yet another eco, and after that they only had the rifles to work with, no AWP in play. So even though they did struggle in the CT side, a lot of it came down to their economic woes. This time, there's not going to be any money problems. That was a clean round being won by Imperial. As now Eternal Fire once more look to crack this defense.
Filtering out evenly across the map. 2 players over on A, 1 mid, which will be Woxic. Smoke is well placed, though. It actually funnels him away from peeking into the catwalk. You can quickly wrap around the underpass as well, but round really slowing down here, Blair. You can feel the tension on these two teams and just how important this game is. Vinny misses out on his chance. Narrowly so, though, but does toss in the smoke just to make sure there's going to be no push anytime soon.
Fallen's towards market as well. He's watching towards window. No one on the bomb site. You can see FNX's position posted on the edge of the balcony. Then the moment Fallen called it for him, that's his cue to peek, or maybe even not. And Fallen, I think, has got an inkling. It feels like it's going to be the play coming in here. There's a lot of utilities being deployed towards mid, so he knows the mid to be play is definitely on the cards.
Oh, FNX and Fallen both came in, and it's a leg shot as well. Emo's kneecaps get blown out and finished off afterwards. Fallen taking it in his stride once again, and FNX playing a perfect supporting cast. And now all the troops have arrived, and it's another clean, comfortable CT side in this OT.
Such a great call from Fallen there. The moment the utility is getting used towards mid, and the fact that there was no presence towards the ramp position, right? Vinny, he's sure he misses the shot, but then the second the Molotov comes in, it's like, yeah, I don't want to keep FNX by his lonesome here. I'm just going to go on in, play from the back of the bomb side, help my teammate out. And yeah, gets one simultaneously, FNX swinging into apartments and getting the kill. And then, of course, the cavalry arrives in the form of and everyone else. And it's an absolute shutdown. But as I did mention earlier, money's not going to be a problem here, right? 16k buy money to start things off, so Eternal Fire can go for get another buy, but whatever success they had near the end of that regulation, Vince, it seems to have kind of petered away. These 2 rounds being won in Imperial have been extremely dominant.
That's one of Imperial's strongest suits, one of their strongest characteristics, is that it doesn't really matter what's going on, it's not going to phase them. Letting a big advantage slip away won't phase them. They can reset, no problems. Fur now on the firebox with one, tries to wide swing with a flashbang, accompany it, but it's Bolts that goes back and forth with Woxic. Still 3 players they have to deal with on this A side, and Fallen tries to pierce through the smoke with his AWP, but is forced away. Just brute force from Eternal Fire, but they have no players that are capable of locking down CT boxes right now. And to make matters worse here, Blair, they have no grenades to play with. There's no way they can cross without getting an entry.
And the problem is the 2 ops in play, right? Here's the thing, if they're able to get the bomb down, this is looking rough for the CTs, because the 2 other CTs who have died, the rifles are not really retrievable. The only rifle retrievable is towards Ticket Booth, but that is already FNX nearby with the AK-47. So Fallen and Vinny have to work with the AWPs here, as the bomb will be planted. The timing on the peak isn't there from FNX, so bomb down, and now this retake starts to look rough here. The timing shot doesn't quite pan out, but Emor, is he aware of the player nearby? I don't know. FNX wrapping a couple of shots, but Emor is holding the line, but he will eventually fall. The 2v2 now.
Oh, a dink through the smoke. Time is starting to escape from Imperial. Need to get their hands back on this, get a bit aggressive, and they've lost Vinny. FNX, who is perched up, misses his chance on a very low X-Floud and misses out on Woxic as well. Eternal Fire can breathe a collective sigh of relief. They don't get clean swept, but they're still struggling a little bit, especially considering the T-side is coming up now for Imperial, where they look so good in regulation.
Especially because on the CT side for Eternal Fire, they seem to have kind of woken up at the end of the first half, right? And this is a little unfortunate here for the CTs. As you said, Vince, they didn't have any utility to cross on over in the 3v3. But once the bomb gets planted, you have 2 ops in the retake. That's when things get a little rough. FNX had a lot of work to do. Was able to find Emor, but that's all he could find at the end of the day. Eternal Fire, they can at least breathe a small little sigh of relief. They have something to work with. It's not much, it's just 1 round on that attacking side. But they ensure that if it was 18-0, sorry, if it was like 18-15 for Imperial, if they made it a flawless CT side, that's when the pressure is going to be crushing for Eternal Fire. And that's where a team like Imperial, that's where they thrive in, right? All that high pressure situation where these guys have been a part of over half a decade. Here we go. Imperial wasting no time. Looks like it's going to be a fast play coming in towards B. There's only one defender, however.
Ooh, that miss from Emo. The Molotov disappears into the nether realm. Goes through the wall. Bit unfortunate. But with that shot and the presence being shown, Imperial have completely given up any idea they had of taking underpass control. So Eternal Fire have at least bullied them out of this location on the map. And now Emo is watching up on top of middle. Fallen is here with Vinny. I feel like they're going to have to flash in for a peek. They must realize there's a possibility if Fallen continues to walk slowly, he should be neutralized. Indeed he is, and Vinny answers back. But a 2-for-1 trade, not the ideal outcome for Imperial. And now they've moved into underpass with a smoke alongside it. Vinny may be stuck at the top of middle if he's not careful, and he has no grenades to burst out with.
Two players waiting there. Vinny actually lucky to even find one. Now the 2v3 FNX all alone. His teammate has arrived now. xFlout, he's had a bit of a quieter game here compared to his teammates, Vince. Now it's turned to really shine here.
25 seconds. Oh, he gets absolutely rinsed by FNX's AK, who keeps pushing in, nearly gets a second. A lot of damage to Calyx, down to 46. Grenade barely scratches bolts. That AWP could be so vital, so key, and he doesn't know that Woxic is also in the kitchen. And there's Calyx on the wide swing. Eternal Fire will tie us up. Another chance for Imperial, but it has slipped away.
Just felt like Imperial had done enough there once FNX gets their first kill, but being caught out in the open, I thought he would have tucked on in. Had a bit of utility as well, which he could deploy towards market. Then played a post plan, but being out in the open. And then Bolt's not expecting, or rather he was just holding the angle. He needed to win that duel, but the M4, a little too much for him to handle. 17 all. They have tied things up indeed, Vince. And if they can take the next two, we go to map number 3.
After a vast lead, would be Vertigo. Just baiting out as if they're top middle here. Bolt's throwing that smoke in to extinguish the Molotov. Well placed flashbang. There's another one. Emo can't see a single thing, and he just gets destroyed by Vinny. Perfect utility on the approach, picking up the pace, switching it up, and a wide swing will be good enough to deal with Woxic. Not Xantares though, but all of his teammates are falling around him, and he needs xFlout to come in. They have more than enough money to go in for this and still have enough for the last round, so they're definitely gonna go in for this potential retake and clutch, but it's stacked against them. xFlout though does break the deadlock with the first, but Xantares is instantly peppered down from the rifles and the AWPs, and it's Fallen that claims the last. Imperial have themselves a match point, elimination point for Eternal Fire now.
They've done this in regulation, Vince. They've somehow managed to bring it back. Can it do it again is a question. That was so ballsy for Vinny to go for the swing. They had a Molotov. They had an extra Molotov, which they could have deployed. Fortunately, Fallen able to hit all his shots, and 30 kills for Xantares, mind you. Too shy for Fallen. She comes running out. The ops sing in tandem. 3 kills in 3 seconds for Eternal Fire. And Vince, I feel like we're going to OT number 2.
It does seem that way. A couple of questionable pushes got completely punished. Maybe there's still a way back in for Bolts and for Vinny as they smoke and nade their way out. However, there's an extra player here in the form of Calyx. 3 AWPs in play for the CTs. Vinny hiding in the smoke. Now going to charge through. Is this 2v5 possible? He knows Calyx is on the CT side. Tagged down a little bit, just checking that Shadow is clear. Smokes will be dwindling momentarily. It feels like they have to make that play while there's a Shroud on the site. But it's Woxic and Xantares to take us to second OT. Eternal Fire refusing to lose.
Again and again. They just are so tenacious. It's just the ball and fall into or run on in through the flames. Maybe Imperial just looking to shock and awe Eternal Fire, but they don't flinch, Vince. Now they're going to be starting on the CT side. Reset things again. It's a long road ahead for Eternal Fire, though. If they take this map, then they go to Vertigo. But once they go to Vertigo, that's when I started like slightly edged away of Eternal Fire, if you ask me, Vince. I feel like their Vertigo is pretty solid overall. And the times of lost to teams, it's been primarily against teams of a higher caliber.
Yeah, and especially when you consider that it would be Imperial effectively losing in overtime, a big lead, all those kinds of caveats come into play as well. I think it would certainly favor Eternal Fire in terms of their confidence. The outcome. The Brazilians again, and they've already been swatted away. Emo with that AWP. Continuing to be a bit of a nuisance, a bit of a pest that they can't really control. And catwalk control also is going to be maintained by Emo. He's just going to facilitate a push around the smoke. And Imperial, a late flank back through their spawn. And they have a couple of smokes, but that's it. Some flashes can accompany it. Sure, there's Molotovs, but one area may go unchecked. One area may be open and affording the chance for Eternal Fire to lock this round down.
Setting up their utility here, but it's all a ruse, Vince. They made a lot of noise as well. Unfortunately for them, there's no one nearby to really hear the footsteps. See 3 members coming out towards mid. A bit of utility lobbed in towards A. Eternal Fire haven't budged, and Emo with the AWP trained in a short position.
Oh, I was going to say he's going to see action, but the only thing he's witnessing is the bullet pass between his eyes. 2 big entries in the meanwhile on Imperial. 2 on 3, 15 seconds. But the last 2 CTs are miles away on A. They're only just making moves through connector, so there's no chance of them denying the bomb plant, obviously, but now it's going to take them a while before they get into position. I wonder if they try and boost up on the boxes, especially now that smoke has been put in position. They will. Woxic going in first, but you have to assume one of Imperial is going to be watching for this, and the barrel of the gun may betray Woxic as he goes in for the peek, but no, he still gets the kill onto Bolts, still deals with that threat. Time, though, is ticking away ever so quick, and on the cross fallen, does connect one more time. Woxic now caught between 2 angles, 2 positions. Nice flick there, but there's not enough time. He can't get this one done. There's no hope for Woxic. He may try his best, but that Molotov is going to seal the deal. And Imperial claim first blood again in OT.
Even if there was no Molotov, he wouldn't have really had time to go for the defuse, but you got to respect the attempt there from Woxic. Again, because they're going to still have a buy no matter what. It's okay, but that did look scary. And what an entry from with that SG. I think that was Vinny there, right? What an entry there, even though Emo was holding the angle with the AWP. Just cracking open that B bomb site despite being a man down. Here we go here. Small smoke for the top of cons. That Molotov's not really going to be doing too much damage way in front there. This is a dangerous game by Xantares. Fallen, he spots his belt. But Xantares smartly, wisely, not peeking further.
But look how much utility the CT's expended in all of this. They have 1 smoke left. No nades on Calyx, only an incendiary on Xantares, just 2 flashes on Woxic. So they've managed to stall a little bit. But this is where Imperial can start to really constrict and really have their say and dictate the pace of the rest of this round.
Still a minute on the clock to work with, though. One thing that Imperial have shown is that they can be very, very patient indeed. Emor takes the shot, and FNX is so fortunate to be alive. Down to 18 HP he is. With that, Emor has relinquished his position on the apartments. Smoke will be deployed. Now, the 2 defenders on that B bomb site, Vince, they have 2 flashes. That's all they have to work with. Fair being alive into its connector can cut off the rotation as well. But 25 seconds remaining, Imperial, they need to go for the play now.
but he's going to be sweeping in as well through on the catwalk side, trying to draw away one of these players so that the rest of the team can focus and funnel in. But xFloud is locking it down so well. This has been an utterly fruitless round on the side of Imperial. You could see what they were looking for. They took so long, though, to even get in position. And xFloud's spot was so damn strong. We are tied up again.
And that felt a bit disconnected as well. Once the play comes in from short, that's when Imperial was supposed to be exploding onto the bomb side. But you can see how disconnected that hit was. And also Fur getting found out early on to what's connected really didn't help matters here. You can see the way they were dropping in as well. They were just like so separated. But yeah, Fallen. Pop out, the beat is together, but he finds the first quick trade from Emo. And because of the smoke, Vinny's not able to walk out and help his captain to avenge his captain. That smoke's not it anymore, but it's okay. It's all good. He will reposition himself.
I wonder if that acts as somewhat of a one-way into Palace as well. So he instantly went to look in for that one, making the best out of a rough situation, perhaps. Bomb still dropped down at T-spawn, but FNX making moves. Woxic lightning fast on the AWP, and it's all the better that he was. I feel like if he misses that shot, he's likely a goner himself. That does put Imperial with their backs to the wall. A minute left to try and come out of this situation unscathed, however. Now, Bolts, Vinny, and Fur have a huge task ahead of them, and it just got a whole lot worse. Fur from Connector put down in his place, stopping that third contingent position from coming to the forefront, and Sandwich is the position that is going to yield Eternal Fire the lead this time going into the second half of OT.
20 and 19 taking the lead. This is something which we really haven't seen for Eternal Fire that much, Vince. It's been them having to claw their way back every single time. And Fallen is running out there. I would have actually liked his teammate to run on out through the smoke as well, right? I mean, your teammate's there. I think it was Vinny. Fallen's already outside, so yeah, just run on out with your teammate, try to trade, help him out. But once Fallen falls, the initial pick he found, not really getting much done. Great round for Emor as well, 3K there. That flub smoke will be forgotten. That's now heading to the second half here. Sure, the T side of Imperial is where they found their initial success, but now with the pressure slowly starting to mount, it's become a bit of a battle of attrition here. Who can survive? Who can maintain that hunger as long as possible? It's been a long game already.
Oh yeah, this has certainly been a marathon of a best of three, and there's still potentially another map to go. Zentares so quick around the corner, and Vinny was watching the wrong side of the pillar. Does he expect a second player to come in, though? Yes, he does. And Centaurus single-handedly gift wraps Eternal Fire. Such a good chance now.
Fur has to be big here. He's got to go big. Doesn't have to worry about Connector. His teammates there. As Fallen's going to find one. Here they come charging over Calyx. The hard clear, the hard check, and a round's done here. If I'm FNX, I don't even blame him if he just wants to go for the save, even though they have the money, because this is unwinnable for him. Bomb will be planted. xFloud walks Xantaris, Calyx, all healthy, all with the rifles in hand. An Eternal Fire, Vince. Map point. Unless. Surely not.
Try and wrap around the back of xFloud here in Connector, but he's been hurt the entire way through. Nearly gets the kill. xFloud survives on 2. But indeed, it's now Eternal Fire's chance to put this map to bed. And it's quite crazy to me that we're in this position, because if you thought of one team that would be calm under duress, that would be able to come out and come up with that winning formula in a situation like this, it would be Imperial. With that giant brain, all of the experience that Fallen possesses, the rest of the team. This is typically where they shine, but if anything, it's been Eternal Fire that have really come alive in these last 15-20 minutes. And Imperial have just looked at a shell of their former selves on this very map. Everything's been going wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just like the walks because Antares show. Everyone's had their moments. We saw the 3K from Emor, Calix as well. Emor. His toe is getting a little too hot there. Slow peek comes in. Oh. Vinny gets to kill. That should be the call for the hit to come on in here. On towards B bomb site. Here comes the charge.
Could be the last charge of this map, or perhaps not. It's already Imperial have a 2-player advantage. xCloud though, solid headshot delivered, bomb down on the site. Imperial with a fast lead, a fast advantage, but they have Calix to put down, Calix to contend with. Fur will do just that, keeping this map alive. Another map point though for the Turkish team, and it's the Brazilians that have to sweat this one out now. But that was a solid round. That would have built up a little bit of confidence.
I feel like the CT rounds from Imperial on the when they have a full buy have actually been very, very solid. It's only when they're hampered with the lack of the ops, or maybe, you know, just being a bit of a mixed spice, when they kind of struggle a little bit. Let's see what timing shot. Won't quite find it smart, but Fallen waiting for the peek from Emor, and of course smartly he's not going to go for the re-peek. Smoke to cover his escape. Still on fire. Having lost their IGL, now they debate what they want to do here. Vinny's still going to be sticking around towards short as well. Oh, look at how deep Fur is inside of Palace, and I don't know if he's being spotted. Maybe he has. He needs to be careful. Calix is waiting. He saw him. And that's a problem now for Eternal Fire, Vince. Now it's confirmed that the CTs are aware of the lack of presence from the Ts towards the A position. So Eternal Fire might be kind of forced to kind of make their way in towards B, unless Calix is looking to go on a solo adventure and clear out all these angles.
Which surely would be a poor decision, as he has the bomb. So it would appear that won't be the case. But that was vital information. That early warning system was wrong. But that was about 20 seconds ago, and a lot can change in that time. So it has value, but limited. It has an expiry date on that intel. And our xCloud comes out from the apps. Big frag. Make that 2. A giant leap towards a potential 3rd map. But Fallen, as has been the case so many times, is locking it down by his lonesome. And there's another one. A 4K for Fallen. An Imperial take us to OT3.
He didn't miss a single shot, Vince. In the dying embers of this game, of this map, Fallen is just continuing to deliver with the AWP. It looked like xCloud had done enough. These are great shots being hit by xCloud. The 1-2 onto Vinny and FNX, and then Fallen. I'm not sure what Wox was up to. And Fallen waits for a while, waits for the peak to come on in, and boom. How much do Eternal Fire need to do to take us to map number 3? I mean, at this point, they're probably questioning themselves as well. 38 kills now for the Professor. And he's showing no signs of stopping.
It does fill my heart with joy to see, you know, some of the older, established guys that have been around for a very long time still deliver, still go head to head with the talent that Eternal Fire possesses. We saw FNX do this on Nuke. Fallen has just been consistently out of his mind. But they have lost Fur early doors here. And that will be a very real issue they have to contend with. Off angle from Bolts, we've seen him play this spot a couple of times. It's very susceptible to being flashed down. And he doesn't really have any backup right now because Fallen is too busy peeking into Underpass. And that is going to give Eternal Fire an opportunity to execute.
Molotov, though, that's a great molly, and a nade follow-up, and that's going to deal quite a bit of damage, though. And look at this, the combat opping from Fallen. He finds one, he's going to be hunted down. The no-scope won't land. He doesn't even have a chance to rattle off a second shot. And they have somehow seemed to have cracked the puzzle here. Emor, 16 HP, and FNX at the top of the stairs, not able to find anything. But look at how low Emor and Wox are. This is still doable if they can somehow find these two.
The problem for me, though, Blair, is there's no real grenades. They have a flash and that's it. They'd love to have an incendiary, a HE, just something they could toss into one of these angles. The first kill does go the way of Vinny, but with an AWP and 3 players surrounding you, very much a done deal. Eternal Fire, first blood again in the OT. A lot of that comes off the back, though, of getting a free pick onto Fur, and that instantly kind of thinned out the defense, and they made the most of it with that A execute. And there's not much Fur can do about that, to be honest. That's just a crazy fast shot. He saw Vinny and Fallen try their damnedest with the AWP on the A site, but it was just a bridge too far. And now Eternal Fire trying for the third time with the opening round to get it done and take us to Vertigo, but there's a long way between then and now.
It is interesting how, okay, now we see the smoke, right? But there's been a lack of smokes towards jungle, and it's almost Eternal Fire like, yeah, we're not going to smoke it off, so we can take the duel. Well, Fallen's still going to come on top. This time around, it's from Connector. Emor will fall at the top of mid. And whenever Imperial are able to get these opening duels, Vince, that's when they just seemingly, on a CT side especially, that's when they seemingly just shut it down. Look at Furg, and my god, the man is a nuisance.
I don't think he'll see the bomb because that's inside the apps, but he may see Woxic come out. He's jump peeking. They know this is a possibility. They've already checked for this. And though Fur gets one, he may be fragged on the retreat. No, he's tied down to 16. Smoke out, grenade also tossed in, and he knows he's legged him, so Woxic is trying to put those bullets through there with a Glock. But Fur is alive, very much alive, and still survives. Tells the tale to the rest of his teammates and tells them that he spotted 2 players coming up through T-Spawn.
Xantares has got to go big, though. He's been the X factor multiple times for his team. But the moment he rattles off a bullet, that's going to be the peak coming in from short by Vinny with the AWP. 20 seconds. They need to go now. And I don't know if they're going to be expecting bolts.
These angles are honestly so brutal to contend with. They've got bolts, but they check firebox. Like, do you expect 2 players to be here? Gonna be spraying through the smoke, but that smoke is gonna at least allow the bomb plant to come to fruition, and that does change the dynamics of this round now. They know Xantares is in Palace. It's about that second player they're not entirely sure over. Or pardon me, Xantares was on Connector. So they are peeking this one, and Fallen deals with him, forcing xFloud away. 75 HP, you can hear the footsteps here, FNX. He knows xFloud is coming in. Comfortable kill, comfortable defuse. A lot of this off the back of Fur, pushing out, getting the kill, relaying the information to the rest of his teammates, and everything fell into place.
I just feel, how lucky was Fur to stay alive there, Vince? It just blows my mind he was still sticking around after having survived initially. Woxic legging him on the cross. And despite, yeah, they got the bomb down, but despite that, not quite able to hold on to it. Again, Fallen, huge impact, 41 kills for him, Vince. The closest in the server is Mr. Peak himself, Xantares, on 37 on the other side. 22-22. As Eternal Fire come funneling out from ramp, Volts is feeling the pressure.
Ninja spot does get flashed off, but that smoke will allow him to stay in this angle for so much longer. You can see from Sandwich, Calyx wants to go for a pre-fire. He wants to try and shoot down, but waited for the opportunity to present itself, and Bolts jumping on top of the box is pretty much what signed his death warrant. Emor, though, in ladder. Oh, Vinny is so likely to get neutralized here. Depends fully on what Emor's plan is. He's waiting for his teammates to rummage back around the T-spawn. It seems like B is going to be the final destination, but a huge component of this could be what happens between Emor and potentially Vinny. If he can get this kill, it opens up B. Vinny is the only defender on the B side as it stands, and no one is close by to help him out. And this is the moment. Out comes Emor, down goes Vinny, and the B side is open for business, but Fallen is here again. He can't stop the plant from going down. Emor now uses the orb to his advantage. Woxic goes in for seconds and thirds as well. Eternal Fire will lead come the second half once more.
Huge impact from Emor there. 2 kills, but he didn't even need a second kill. The first was what he needed to find onto Vinny, but that's a big mistake. That's such a big mistake from Imperial, right? Like the fact that they had no eyes towards mid, allowing Emor to sneak on in, and once he's there, like they were so sure it was going to be an A hit. They were so convinced. I don't even blame Vinny, but there was definitely some dark spots in the map, which wasn't really calmed through. But take nothing away there. That was massive impact being found by Emor, and once again, Eternal Fire, the past couple of OTs, they've been finding the lead heading to the second halves. Here it comes to play. Smoke will bloom, though. Fallen waiting for the peak.
Oh, Zentaras is slowly getting down there. That flick from Fallen, I thought he missed his chance. That is vintage Fallen. That flick was outrageous. Instantly just decapitates him. And a pick that they were desperate for.
And I love this as well, right? Like, once they get the kill on his Antares, who plays towards connector most of the times, they immediately pivot back towards A. But then, simultaneously, we have the push from Emor towards B apartments. That's going to allow 3 CTs to lie in wait here towards the A bomb site.
These two orbs, though, have both gone in tandem. They did also connect a shot on Palace. Well-placed incendiaries. Funnels away the push. Well-placed flash, though, is dealing enough to force away the CTs from the site. They vacated the premises, and now Bolts lands the touchdown nade onto a low Calyx. They don't deny the bomb plant. Flash up and over. 4 against 3, but Emor has even the odds at the cost of a bit of hit points, but it's worthwhile. And an uncharacteristic miss from Fallen costs him his life, and now it's all down to Bolts, and he is the next to fall. Imperial had the advantage in that post plant, but it all comes crashing down.
What a retake. What a brilliant retake from Eternal Fire. And that all came down to Emor again, Vince. He didn't have to get the kill, just to push towards B apartments, allowing all the CTs to congregate on the very bomb site that the hit was going to be coming in from, and they had to go. They just went on in. Emor with the flank, getting the kill, taking down Fallen as well. Not much Fallen could do. The flashbang forcing him out from the angle he was holding, and now once again, Eternal Fire on map point. 1 away from taking us to Vertigo. And it's been a long day in the office. You can see a couple of players are tired. They still need to hold on. One thing we've seen from both the sides, actually, Imperial and Eternal Fires on Mirage, they've just never, ever given up. It's never say die attitude, but all right, let's see what they do here. Double up. There is an AK on the ground as well towards T-spawn, so that can be picked up by FNX later on. I do believe he's got the spawn for mid. Perhaps no, he's gonna go for the B pick while Fallen just tries to duke it out at mid.
Opening pick onto Calyx in the Palace side, as Imperial looking to battle back into a 4th OT. This marathon continues. Well, it's going to continue either way, either into another OT or we go to another map. If Eternal Fire can pick up one of the next 2 rounds. This round is looking a little bit sparse of cover on the A side of the map. Smoke down onto the connector will force the interest of Woxic, who takes his AWP and positions in that spot, but now peering down into the ramp instead. Imperial drawing away their B contingent to pick up the spawn resting bomb. And it looks like A site is going to be the final destination. And considering that Woxic is the only player in this premises, unless a rotation comes through, I'm not sure he can lock this down by himself.
He got the ace from that very position, Vince. Don't forget that.
That is a good point. But you have to assume with all the utility, look how many grenades, how many flashes, how many smokes that Imperial have. One of them surely finds its way into Woxic and neutralizes him. Emor, though's been picked off elsewhere on Catwalk, and now they realize what is coming to the forefront. Eternal Fire need to rest on Woxic. They need him to have impact, but all the utility is tossed in his way. He cannot afford to stay there, and it's quite literally too hot to handle on the tall booth, and there's another molly behind it. Now comes out into the open, though. Woxic can't deny the bomb plant, and he gets nailed from above by the hand of Bolts. Imperial, they need to strike one more time, and we'll have one more OT if they do.
That was a very important round from Bolts. They're opening things up. You said it. Woxic having to deliver, but the barrage of utility, just a tactical deployment all the way. That's a huge opening initially there from Bolts, though. And then Emor Oh, the taps for... We saw him in the camera. He was yawning, but it's all for show, Vince. He is very, very awake in the server indeed. And now Imperial battling to take us to OT number 3? Or is it 4? I've lost track.
It would be 4, I think.
Yeah, it is OT 4. There we go.
Let's see if they can win this round, though. I thought it was just baiting, mate. It was a rallying cry. He was looking chill, but his mouth open was a scream, trying to rally the rest of the troops. It explodes my mind that Fallen is playing this well, though, in terms of his own individual performance.
Might even say, Fallen, stop loading.
Of course. We say that and he's dead from Woxic, of course.
Classic caster cursed. Good job, Vince.
Good job, Machine.
Good job, Machine. Shout out Alex Richardson. As we will have 5v4 advantage here for Eternal Fire. Make that a 5v3. 3 more nails remain in the coffin of Imperial, and we might be seeing map number 3 here, Vince. Vertigo. 3 kills away.
Less Imperial can remedy the situation. Already taking windows, 25 seconds left, and it is the bomb carrier that's in window, going jungle now. May have bypassed Centares, and that could fake Eternal Fire out. That could completely catch them off guard. Calyx in a bit of an off angle on the Tetris side. They need to try and deal with this. There's also a player in the CT. 10 seconds left. Molly down onto Tetris, but it's even trades back and forth, and that's not going to be good enough for Imperial. 3 seconds to play with. Bolts is down. If they can get on the CT side and just kind of calm down a little bit after that game, because again, we go back to at one point they had a lead of like 7 or 8 rounds. They were looking almost untouchable. They were looking flawless, and then everything just fell apart.
Here we go. Who's gonna go in first, Vince? He's got the balls. Emor, there we go. Oh no, he comes back again.
What was it? Calyx that was in a 1v2 and like they were just looking at each other for like 2 minutes or whatever? Was it him?
Yeah, it was him, and then he clutches it out in the end.
Yeah.
But this time there is no clutch going the way of Calyx or Eternal Fire. Imperial will be winning the knife, and not a surprise to be starting on the CT side. But as you said as well, Vince, it's not the end of the world starting on the T side over here for Eternal Fire. Let's take a look at the buy real quickly. For Imperial, Captain leading by example is going to purchase quite a bit of utility here, a smoke, a nade, and a flash. And the nade's going to be given to bolts and a smoke for FNX. The rest of them, it's going to be USPs and armor. And for Eternal Fire, 2 mollies, a smoke, and a flashbang. And it looks like it's going to be a play towards B here, but 3 CTs.
They are walking into a bit of a dangerous situation over the very murky water. And it could be tumultuous as well. But Vinny goes down. It's effectively separate 1v1s that they find themselves into, because there was no way for Bolts to really help his teammate out. You know, he's stuck behind the pillar, hoping and praying that he can delay this long enough for the rest of his team to get in, but it's not really happening. And I've fallen, trying to tee off with a bunch of bullets. 3 players, super low though. Calyx, Antares, Emor, all 1 bullet away from their demise. And that may be a big reason as to why they just pulled the plug and haven't fully engaged just yet. There's still a minute left on the clock as well. They can make Imperial sweat this one out for a bit longer.
And they're making no secret. They're just going to come running up towards a ramp position, but they slow things down again, slowly peeling back. As you said, Vince, 14, 15, and 3 HP. That's combined HP of quick maths, 32. For 3 of the players. And Fallen needs to be careful. He finds Emo.
Fallen's already backing away, though. He may assume that this was a flank. And this is all a bait. A bit of misdirection. Meanwhile, Eternal Fire have slowed this round down so much that they only have 25 seconds to play with. And now they're making moves in. They are so nervous. They're treading so lightly. On eggshells right now. And down goes Calyx. That's the bomb with him as well. Leaving X-Flout with 95 hit points to try and clutch this one down. He's got 1, but he's being winged up from the window and finished off by FNX. Imperial do take the round.
It's kind of crazy. Despite that opening duel, it was only 1 player low, but Fallen did such a good job alongside his teammate, just whittling away with them. And they even went for the the flank there, but then in the end, they just had one flashbang remaining to use up all the utility they had. So very close here. And next, not even finding bolts, right? It was a 3v5, but then Fallen. Yeah, it was Bolt who had dealt so much damage, right? You can see the assists right there. 3 of the players were low because of him. It's a great impact there from Bolt, despite not getting a single kill. A tag from Woxic, however, onto its first, down to 12 HP. 3 SMGs in play. Fur just sticking around only with the USP. The A1 in the hands of FNX. Eternal Fighter waiting for a peek to take place. Fallen crouching just below the smoke, and it's going to push on ahead. It's a dangerous game here being played by the IGL. It's going to spot Xantares, gets the dink, but doesn't get the kill.
Dangerous game that backfires. The only good aspect of that is that early information was attained, and so they don't have to over-rotate. A couple of nades tossed in, barely damaging Emo. Molly behind it as well on scaffolding. But Eternal Fire still maintain that player advantage. Although damage is being inflicted, in comes the wide swing, and Woxic punishes Bolts. Forces them on the back foot. Spray is good for one, but that's where it will end. And although the M4 is picked up, it seems like it's destined for a save. Eternal Fire have done enough.
And it came down to Fur, right? Like he was tagged down to 12 HP, so he really had to fall back to safety. And for Fallen from that position, I would like one of his teammates to be I'm not sure if there was a teammate there at top of ramp, but if he was there, he could have gone for the instant trade at the very least, but there was no one close by, Vince. And what a shot from Woxic as well onto Bolts. And then Calyx dealing headshots of his own with the Desert Eagle. And a force buy works out here for Eternal Fire. It was a pistol round that felt kind of stolen away from them because of the heroics of Bolts, just keeping them at bay. And with Xantares even surviving on 2 HP. So not only did it win the round, the getaway, and upgrading to, I think that MP9 was picked up. Yeah, it was definitely picked up from the CTs. Now for Imperial, they have the 2 save guns, so they will still be able to force out a buy here. 2 M4 still in play. In the meantime, you guys can use the code WYIEKX33TI.
Say what?
I don't know how to pronounce it. WYIEKX33. Thank you. In Roobet.com. I tried. I've been trying to pronounce some of these codes, but that one was a bit too much of a tongue twister for me as well, Vince.
I feel like you just got trolled. Like, they know you're trying to pronounce it. Like, right, just give them something wacky. And it worked. They baited you in.
That sounded like some spell to summon a demon or something. Well, here we go. Bit of a boost here. Emo, is it going to check?
It's a super powerful boost, this, but it is susceptible to being flanked from the side. Up on the sandbags, they don't look. Emo still crouched. Now he's been spotted, but still removes the head of Fur. And that will put more pressure on FNX. He can only muster up the strength for one. Good flashbangs, and Tares dicing down Fallen, who tried to go in for that wide swing. That kill from Emo was so vital as well. But now Eternal Fire post-plant in another good position. Grenades singing over. Finishing off the kill through the smoke is Bolts. And that puts it down to Xantares and Woxic to try and hold the line.
Finny slowly creeping on up, but Xantares from above immediately takes care of him. And Bolts down to 51 HP. Just attack from the scout will be enough to take care of him. So he will also have to fall back. Just the one A1 saved. And this time it should be an eco here from Imperial. Eternal Fire will get to their second. Woxic even having enough time to retrieve the M4.
Just that M4 though. Dropping the grenade to Fallen. That's pretty much all they're going to have, because if they go in for any more of an investment, it will leave them more vulnerable, more bare for the next round. And this is such a big part of the round from Emo. Taking down the headshot, it allowed them to focus their attention over on the main side of the site. Now imagine that Emo comes out second best in that trade. There's going to be 2 or 3 players looking towards the top of that boost, and that's where the wide swing really does excel. And meanwhile, though, in this round, a lack of a purchase, as anticipated. We'll see Imperial go a bit aggressive down on the scaffolding with Fallen, but he gets caught by Emo. And the easiest of kills will find itself across to Eternal Fire. Just being careful, Molotoving off on the side, making sure that no pesky CTs are stacked together. Maybe trying to play into that M4 and bait into the open. Bolts with the wide swing, 1-for-1 trade. He did weaken up Emo. But the downside here for the CTs, additionally, is it's hard for them to retrieve any weapons that have been spilled down. They have got the weapon that was previously in the hands of Bolts, but no Kevlar on top of that. And in another post plant, and grenades finding their way to the back of the site. Maybe Imperial should just back off and save again, and that seems to be what's happening.
Yeah, might as well. They're gonna have 2400 loss bonus coming in, kicking in next for Imperial, so they will still be able to buy the M4 and Kevlar, but with Vinny having the A1 in his hands, you can ensure that at least he'll have full money. That is unreasonable for me more as well. 3-1 here, Vince. Good start indeed. Lost pistol round. I'm not too sure why Xantares wants to really go for this hunt. He knows just the USPs, as we have the code once more. You can go to roobet.com, and you want to give this one a shot, Vince? Try pronouncing it.
UA Teti? Yeah.
UXC33T.
Smashed it. Smashed it,
UXC33T. There, I don't know. WYWIEKX. I don't even know what even is that code there. Production just messing with us at this point in time, guys. It's late. Let's not do this. Give us the funny ones. Give us the kangaroo flavored codes. But there we go. For those of you who did manage to catch that, you can use it and pick up the bonus for yourselves. As Xantares will open things up. It's a headshot. So Vinny will fall. He was the only sole defender towards a B bomb site, and that's going to draw to rotation. Bolt is still going to be posted here towards mid.
Oh, he's going to be pushing forward. This may backfire. X-Floud doesn't even need to do anything. Realistically, his teammates are already taking the B site. That will force away the CTs to try and contend with this. And X-Floud can be that ace up the sleeve. He can just flank later on once they've thinned out a bit of the herd. At some stage, Bolts is going to have to go back and help his teammates out here. But he's still holding off in the mid side. It doesn't feel like Imperial are really going for this. Fallen is still over on the other side of the map, just holding on. And Bolts looking to his left just as he gets peeked. That's to be so frustrating. Imperial just look completely and utterly in pieces right now on the CT side.
It took so long to react as well, right? Towards that loss of Vinny on the B bomb site. And Bolt as well, he was calling for backup. He's like, listen, guys, I can't leave this position. I need to hold on. But even he falls eventually, getting a bit CSGO'd in the process as well. This is the opening. Oh, Xantares, man, just so methodical. And Bolt was just staying alive just for this man. He was just holding the angle, waiting for X-Cloud to go for a play, but even he falls. And they're just so unfortunate. Imperial, yeah, they can get the buy-in, you know, FAMAS, the M4 still in play, utility as well. One kit for Fallen. That's about it. But Eternal Fire is showing why Vertigo is a map that are usually very comfortable playing on, Vince. They're making life quite miserable indeed for the CTs.
And on the flip side, I think we're seeing some of the issues that Imperial have struggled with in their previous games. I believe when I checked the stats, they had a 12% win rate on this map. Yep, they've played it 8 times, and they have a 12% win rate. So it kind of paints a picture. The only victory that they have had in the last 3 months was to MIBR, and that was back at the end of April, about a month ago. Since then, it's just been losses left and right.
It's kind of, and if you go back to the videos, we can probably talk about it later on, is we do have a few kills going the way of the CTs. Calyx and Woxic still there. Calyx will find Vinny. That's a B defender. Second kill as well onto Bolt, and suddenly this one's just turned around.
Oh,
they shot from that had to take place. Nade's gonna sail in as well, and now all on Calyx to 1v1 against Fallen.
He's got 2 bullets left. Well, there we go. He's replenished the magazine. He realized it, could hear the sound cue. Fallen, 42 HP. Had so much impact on Mirage. Is he going to go above and beyond once again for his teammates? No, calyx misses out on the spray. Fallen does come out ahead. I thought he'd go down there once the AK whipped towards his position, but he survives on 16 HP, and an Imperial claim a much needed second round.
Coming down to the 1v1 though, right? There was a 2 versus 4 favoring Imperial, and still calyx almost single-handedly bringing this one back. And by the way, if Woxic had got that kill on the Fallen, there would have still been a round going the way of Eternal Fire. But in the end, not to be. Valiant attempt from calyx though, bringing this one back. Great stuff. Bolt's even caught looking somewhere else. That's a little bit of a strange one. But yeah, Imperial, they win a much-needed round. Bolt's again being aggressive here towards stairs. Vinny, he's going to be the one looking to make contact. And I'm just to touch upon what he said there earlier, Vince. 12% win rate for Imperial on his map. Yes, and they played it 8 times in the past 3 months, right? What surprised me a little bit was the fact that, firstly, Ancient is the map which neither of these 2 teams play, right? And Imperial were the ones to ban it. Even if they floated it, I believe Imperial, like, it was kind of like, who's gonna blink, right? And it was Imperial who blinked. They banned it out. And then they banned Dust too. A map where they actually have a better win rate than Eternal Fire. So a bit of a head scratcher that they allowed Vertigo through. And it's showing why it is being a problem here for Smoke here to try and work his way around. But the moment you see the smoke from the T's perspective, you know there's someone lurking behind.
Yeah, it kind of gives away the general idea, but it also does waste time. And now that they whittled away the timer to 38 seconds, they've backed away from the site with all 5 players alive. This is where it gets a little bit uncomfortable on the side of Eternal Fire. Another smoke up close. This definitely helps them with their MP9 and their lack of utility at this point as well. Spray is good. FNX also dips in for one. Only xFloud has come back with an answer so far. In the smoke, Fur's going to show his hand, although Woxic does deal a fatal blow. It's down to a 2-on-2. MP9 sprays in. calyx is bested. 10 seconds to play with. Woxic needs to make some moves. The flick's not on point. And Bolt stops him from retreating from the site. And Imperial get their second in a row.
Hard fought. In the end, it's not to be an Imperial. Yeah, it's finally waking up, but there's still so much money for the side of Eternal Fire. Xantares can drop a gun for one of his teammates, and one of them might have to just work with the Galil. Vinny, MP9 up close. Eternal Fire taking a little too long there, as they have called for the tactical time. Well, the first of this game, as they talk things through, do they want to go for the buy, in which case there will be maybe a Galil in place, maybe a couple of Galils, or do they just go for a light purchase? It's probably what they're talking about here. I feel like the B bomb site is where they've been finding a majority of the success, though, right? It has been a lot of the entries going their way, and here we go. The buy will be coming in after all. And in fact, an AK not being dropped, and yeah, no Galils, but the MAC-10 for xFloud. Skimpy on the utility because Woxic has gone for the AWP. The other side, we have Fallen as well, the op of his own. It's time for Imperial to have a couple of players towards mid here. Aggressive posturing. And Benny once more buys Lonesome towards B.
Trimming the bomb as he heads over on the B side of the map, where 3 players are laid in wait for the time being. Double stack in middle, 1-for-1. Woxic misses his chance, but isn't fully punished, though he does lose 90 HP. He is still alive. calyx now taking a peppering and a double spray down. Not sure how much Vinny knew about Emo's position, but still gets the double all the same. And although Woxic is low, he's still a danger. He's still a threat. xFloud could have the frag on the cross. Neutralizing bolts. Keeping that money low, keeping their chance in this round just about within arm's reach. Benny is looking for the prowl, looking to try and rotate round the back. They still need to pick this bomb up as well. Woxic is closest to it. This is anyone's round, Blair. This has been a really strange and scrappy affair, and the timing working out for Fallen. He nearly got picked off in the back.
flanks upon flanks as Woxic. He's now going to group up with his teammate and still paranoid. Oh, I can't believe it. They've just walked on past each other. Fallen has no idea now. And Vinny, clambering up the ladder, he's also confused as well. But 23 seconds, they need to make a move right now. Woxic needs to cross on over. Indeed, he will. So the bomb will be planted. Now for the CTs, they don't have any nades to just dunk on into the planter. But they're being very quiet. They don't need to. Woxic will fall. And now it's down to xCloud. 7 seconds. He needs to get the bomb down. But Vinny goes with a swing. And even if he gets the kill, it would have been messy. There wouldn't have been time. The Molotov got deployed by Fallen. What an interesting 2v2 there. But Imperial, they will hold on. And finally, Eternal Fire, they have to go for the eco.
Where did the bomb get dropped there? Because at the end, that 2v2, they didn't have control over the bomb. They didn't even try and go and pick it up. I wonder if it was in some weird, wacky position, like it fell on top of a box. Something strange happened there, that's for sure. And that's maybe what skewed the decision-making of Eternal Fire. Either way, whichever way you turn it, whichever way you spin it, they're down to some pistols and not much else. So Imperial, off the back of just getting battered early on in this half, looking lost, looking completely vulnerable, they have found that second wind. They have found their resolve. And with flashes and nades being exchanged, this pistol purchase or lack thereof for Eternal Fire is kept down at the bottom of ramp. Once that Molotov clears though, they will have the AWP train down here. Flashbang is good though. It does afford them safe passage for the initial peak, but now they're going to be walking into the M4 and into Fallen, and they are being dropped left and right. There was never really a hope of getting anything done in this round. USP aim not quite there, but Fall survives, survives on 3 HP and deals the fatal damage to Calyx. 5-4, Imperial lead for the first time since the pistol.
But they did only have to contend with the pistols there from Eternal Fire. Now the buy is going to be out again. Woxic. Oh, okay, glass cannon. All right. He's very susceptible to the utility and aim punch as well. Nice hold from Fur here. Albeit it was just the pistols. Bit of a 4K. Definitely gonna help his confidence because he had a bit of a quiet start here to this map. It was 3 and 5, I believe. Now to 7. Early aggression from the T's though towards ramp, and they're holding on, but Calyx finds Fur. Nade's gonna be dunked into Fallen's position. He's in an uncomfortable spot, but he still lands a shot into Xantares. That's I think it's at the edge of the wall there.
Yeah, that was a pixel flick headshot. Beautifully done by Fallen, starting to pick up that same form we saw on Mirage. And now it is down to Eternal Fire to break the deadlock, to unshackle themselves from this defense on the A site, but Bolts is keeping them imprisoned. Fallen burns to a crisp elsewhere. Now Vinny with that secondary AWP, using that smoke to just back off. Bolts spills the bomb down on the ground, gives them such a good chance now, and goes in for more. Eternal Fire got some entries, they had chances, and maybe Calyx can still clutch yet, as he comes up head-to-head against Vinny, but Vinny lands the nade. I was about to highlight that Calyx was on an exceptionally low HP, around 16, and now he's been finished off. And Imperial, they strung together 5 rounds in a row.
Dad, where did this even come from? The bomb hasn't even been planted in any of these 5 rounds. This is off Calyx opening it up. That was actually the wallbang at the edge there, catching the duck from Fallen, and then Bolts the hero gets the flank, and then Vinny to finish it off with a perfectly placed nade. Couldn't have been any better. Eternal Fire once again to go for a light buy here. $3,400 loss bonus. Enough for Galil's armor, head armor, and of course, you know, when you're going up against the A1s, you want to ensure that you have that head armor, meaning an AK along with Kevlar armor buy is out of the realms of possibility for the majority of the players here, so wouldn't be too surprised to see. Well, okay, they're gonna mix things up. AK is gonna be dropped for Xantares, and this is fair. This is fair. They're going to try and maximize the chances here instead of just having the pistols. And why not? Remember the Mirage round, Vince, where they had Xantares with the 1 AK and he gets 3 kills.
Nice run boost, but no one was there to greet them. Bolts in the meanwhile, double spray, gets fragged. Imperial finding this vein of form out of seemingly thin air, Blair. The way they were getting manhandled earlier on in this half, it is astounding how they've bounced back this well.
Oh, absolutely. It really looked like they were just floundering adrift, just completely lost, as you said. And then this is just clean stuff. Great flash assists coming out. They're winning their duels as well. Especially against some of these half buys, they're really not being pressured at all. Still, can the streak continue? We'll find out here. As Fer looking to be aggressive, Flames behind him, so he knows that exit path for him has been cut off for the time being. But the trajectory of the nades, they know where he is, but Incendiary locked in is still sticking around. Fer.
Oh, is he really going to go on PK on this? Are you serious, Fer? The audacity to go for that peak. No way he's able to just walk out of here as well. There we go. That's a bit of justice at least.
Okay. Right, Xantares somehow brings this one back alongside Woxic. If Fer got away from that position, that would have been so ridiculous.
Does still mean though, Blair, with the 2 casualties, that Eternal Fire, for the first time in quite a while, will feel like they are favorite to win a round on this T side. Smoke over to isolate elevators, allows them to focus their attention on the rest of the site. Headshot is situated and occupied by 1. Back room also being flanked into, and Vinny from the elevators. The bomb now being planted down. Grenades do come in, good damage inflicted, but Woxic will make this that little bit more difficult situation. Imperial actually staying around. I'm surprised about this. I thought they would have pulled the plug and got out of here, considering that Vinny's down to 20 HP now, and they have 2 M4s that they could do with holding on to. They will now finally back out at the cost of 3 lives. And Eternal Fire, they get the 2 entries they were looking for over on the ramp, and they manage to convert it into their 5th round.
I do want to see how Woxic got the kill onto Fer. Was it Fer? Yeah, it was Fer. I really felt it was behind the sandbags, but I think he got the kill in that little gap there. But that was such an important kill for him to find, because this was just audacious from Fer. Yeah, Fer just half of his face poking out, and then a great second kill as well from Xantares. It was all Woxic and Xantares at round. It looked like the op for Woxic on his T side, it hasn't really found too much of an impact, but that is one round where it definitely did.
Couldn't even see their opposition in the rearview mirror, and they still lost that. The other side, Eternal Fire down, but never truly out. So yes, there's a lead was built up. It's only 2 rounds now, of course. I'm definitely not going to write off Eternal Fire from picking up potentially more rounds, maybe even leading come the second half if they can bounce back with authority. Very aggressive up on the ramp this time, maybe trying to catch Fer unaware. Bolts for how many rounds has he done this? How many rounds is he going to get the opening pick? I feel like this is 4 or 5 at least at this stage in the half.
Has definitely been a difference maker here for his team. 12-8 to scoreline, a majority of which, I'm sure, as you said, having his opening duels, and this is a very dangerous angle for Fer to play. It's really hard to win those duels. Flash is not going to find anything, but that's a tell that the CTs are right behind here. But do they expect 3 CTs playing aggressively is the question. Woxic, once again, having to open things up. He gets a tag, but doesn't get the kill. Fallen will instead find him.
Xantares wants to peek in. He's desperate. He's itching. Hungry to have impact. Hungry to entry. He's been whittled down to 50. Molly's now been tossed in. Oh, it's gone too shallow. Too shallow. It's not going to affect the CTs. Far more him. He wanted to peek behind that and try and take that opportunity, but instead it spread and started to tickle him. So it's forced him away. It's allowed the CTs to bolster up this defense. 2 players watching it with Fer on the headshot angle. That Molly did way more harm than good. And now Xantares, a lot of damage to Fallen, who gets finished off through the wall. But there's 20 seconds left. And they don't really have anything to exploit onto the site with. They've got a flash which has just been tossed in, but it lands in the eyes of Xantares. It completely wrecks their own team.
That is a disaster Oh, it felt like somehow they might be able to crack it open the moment Fallen falls, because one of the players inside, I think it was Fur, in the headshot position was extremely low as well. Nice turn from xFloud there at the end, but it was not to be. And again, Bolts, man, he's such a thorn in the side of Eternal Fire. He blinded everyone, Vince. Everyone was blinded there. And in the end, for 20 HP, able to close it out. 8 and 5. Imperial would be looking to get to that double-digit mark. And if they're able to stave off this round from Eternal Fire, they just might, right? If they're able to take away these guns from Eternal Fire, it will be a light buy for the Turkish side come the final round of this first half. As they come poking and prodding towards mid here. Sandir will keep them at bay, and the nade to sail on in. Won't be doing too much of damage though. And the re-aggression coming out from FNX, assisted by the flash. The flash is good to blind one, but smartly he doesn't continue to push on ahead. He spots the first as xFloud is gonna find one, and FNX replies back with 2 quick kills.
Can now try and close the gap onto the CT side and isolate these defenders on B. Caught completely out in the open. 2-on-2. Fur has found the bomb. They have got the prize, and this is not the first time we've seen Eternal Fire do this. It was another 2v2. It felt like forever ago at this point, but they left the bomb down. Fast flank came in from Imperial. They found the bomb, and that was the round-winning moment. Will lightning strike twice? Vinny's position is going to be so difficult to clear out, and he sees the shadows. He hears the players. He knows they're coming in. 1 spray, 2 spray, down they go. And Imperial should not be winning that round, but again, Eternal Fire just refused to hold on to the bomb. They have no bomb control whatsoever.
xFloud did everything he could, but yeah, that flank is what caught them off guard. Now we can see in the replay, I didn't even notice what was happening there because I was so focused on this fight here, but the push from behind, and this angle from Vinny is just brilliant, right? You can't see his feet while coming down the stairs, but he could spot the shadows of both the players. Didn't even need any help there. 9 to 5 now. And they have the money for the buy, but as I pointed out earlier, it's not that great. It is 2 Galils in play. Make that 3, but the AK-47, 1 of 2. Hands of Emor able to open things up. Now he's inside of smoke. I don't think FNX expects this. They've crossed on over, and Emor's gonna take down Fallen as well, and they're losing members all over the map. FNX at least able to neutralize Emor, but the B bomb site has been lost. And for the CTs, they have an incendiary in the nade, but the nade, it's too late now. The nade won't be able to deal much of damage, as Bolt at least able to find Woxic, but it's all on FNX. He's got the read, but xFloud, he's gonna get the kill. 9 and 6, the score as we head to the second half.
Anyone's game. Anyone's game here. Felt like Imperial had a good opportunity to get a 10-5 half, which would have put them in great stead. But as it stands, Eternal Fire down, but they are certainly within touching distance. Pistol coming up. Imperial now onto the T side. This is where you expect Fur to have a lot of impact. Every T half, he's always going to be a menace. He's always going to be a problem. But we also saw Bolt going very aggressive, getting a ton of opening picks. So maybe this is just going to be his home map, the map where he shines brightest. As time is going to tell. Here we go, live into the second half.
The buy here for Fallen. Smoke and a molly. A couple of flashes for Bolts. No P250 being purchased either. And a Woxic at the back behind a pillar. The Molotov should be for him though. But xFloud opening things up. Gets the first kill.
Further exploding out onto the site. No one's checking the back pillar. And Woxic with the P2000 is going to put them down. He's going to punish them. Fur caught in the smoke. And Fallen's back at spawn. Lining up grenades, it would appear. And now, as a result of Woxic's valiant stance onto the site, they need Fallen to find and recapture some of that form that we saw in Mirage. Multiple players up against him, and Emor will retort onto his opposite number, his opposite IGL. And Eternal Fire win the second pistol.
A little unfortunate there for Fallen as well, even in the 1v4, which is looking very unlikely because he had invested in the utility. Aim punch proving to be his doom. I love the little pause there from Woxic, because oh, he's reloading and jumping in the air. Let me just take a second to line up that shot. Great stuff. He goes unchecked. Eternal Fire, they win the as Vinny once more with the R8. Now, I'm not going to complain anymore about the R8 though. He's got a couple of kills already with it on Mirage, so he knows what he's doing. Vantaris comes charging in. Oh, he runs out of bullets though, and finally he will fall. But has dealt so much of damage with that MP9. And Woxic's there to finish things off. Fallen, last man standing. Woxic with a nice little 3K.
Yeah, armorless enemies and assailants will be put down very quickly by the scouts. And in doing so, Imperial, who held off on the buy as a result of getting no plant down in the first round of this half, will now have the AK-47s they've been waiting for. And this is just as Antares' aggression, money being printed. He goes down, he's fine with that, because they only lost one player in total, courtesy of Woxic's solid scouting. Sometimes I honestly think he might be better with the scout than the AWP, because it allows him to play way more aggressively. In the meanwhile, though, Emor repels the peek from FNX, and that is a well-placed incendiary. Bolt can do nothing about his fallen teammate.
Meantime, Calix finding another. This is, yeah, so early in the round as well. Imperial find themselves with a two-man deficit. And xCloud hugging the corner. MP9. Benny has an inkling. He doesn't want to go for the wall bang because that's going to give away his position. And you can see Emor from the distance just peppering away through the wood, trying to distract for his teammate. Benny is still waiting. In the meantime, Fallen is trying to sell a bit of a ruse here, but here comes the walk in towards B. They've actually drawn the rotation. xCloud is lucky to be alive.
Is how much longer will that be the case? Only a few more seconds. He had a couple more seconds of life. But that extra couple seconds allowed his teammates to rotate in, and Emor taking the point, charging in the spearhead behind the operation. But that spear, a dull blade. And a much sharper one is plunged into him. And maybe switching up the blades for ordnance, because the bomb has now been planted firmly in position. Although Vinny is low on HP, the spray narrowly goes awry. Calix and Woxic up against Fallen once again in a clutch situation. Smoke in his eyes, can try and use this to his advantage though, and there is a gap in the smoke. Does Eternal Fire realize this? That could be huge. They put another smoke down, but Fallen's playing around it, and they both have kits, so they will have enough time. But I honestly thought that smoke had just completely destroyed them.
Thankfully, they had a second one, and the moment that gets deployed, Fallen has to go for the spray through the smoke. And I'm sure he was thinking the same thing you did as well, Vince. He was like, oh, there's a gap here, and they might not be expecting this, and I can easily find one, and then it's going to be a 1v1, but the second smoke there. Still a nice attempt, though. The fact that they're even able to crack this B bomb site, despite being a 5v3. Bit of aggression coming out from Eternal Fire as well, which not necessarily a huge fan of, allowing the T's to take a few duels. Uh-oh. He's been spotted. xCloud, he needs help, and a flashbang is great. He's still going to stick on around, though. Waiting for a second one. Instead, he's still going to play on the side behind the pillar now, repositioning himself. Now, if you look at the buy here for the T's, it is one hero AK-47 in the hands of Vinny. The rest of them is just pistols. As Calix just pushed on in, Vince. Against the pistols, he's just pushed on in. And he's gonna find Fallen, but smartly he will peel away. He's all by his lonesome, and there's no need to sit on the C4. There's information gained, and he will scamper away.
Yeah, cut his losses while he still can. Or I guess in this case, his victories. And he will go in for a second. Fur goes for the wide swing, punished. And Calix just pieces back to the site. Just relaxed, calm. And now the pressure being applied directly to Bolts. And it's Woxic with the AWP that will lay him to rest on the approach. FNX with just a deagle. As Vinny tries to get a bit of control over side. The timing works in his favor. But time itself will not be. 30 seconds. Sands of time are running dry for Imperial. And you wonder Are they overall? Because it feels like the momentum of this match has now shifted back in favor of Eternal Fire. Vinny, he's still a little bit concerned as to Elevator in the backroom side. Doesn't want to overextend, but FNX in transit removes the head of Xantares. The spray is a little bit awry, but Emor corrects it in time. With 6 seconds to play with, FNX has no time and no health remaining. Eternal Fire regained the lead.
Ten to 9 now, and this has been flawless from Woxic and his men, Vince. Imperial yet to really get much success, and the one time they got a bomb down was that very close affair they had earlier on, which again required heroics coming in from a couple of the members. As FNX, this is a good start though. Emor will fall. Early opening duel going their way. Calyx has been so fortunate, getting so many kills through the smoke. Is keeping them at bay as well. He's got backup as well nearby alongside him. There's Mr. Xantares. And I like this from Eternal Fire, right? There's so many teams we've seen, even the highest tiers of Counter-Strike, where they're content just giving up control of ramp and just allowing the T's to have ramp control very early in the round. And that, I've never been a big fan of that. So just peppering away through the smokes. The worrying thing, of course, is the fact that it's the A1. You got to remember a number of times players have died in this tournament. The first big tournament here where we have the new update to work with, but they've run out of bullets. In the meantime, Vinny finding Xfloud and Woxic, his position is known. This is looking grim here for Eternal Fire. He'll fall as well. This might be the call for the save here, unless Xantares can do something superhuman.
It's a great flash though. It forces him off the angle and allows him to make up space. So Fur's just below him. He has no idea. Now he's found out, and Fur missing out on that chance. Something you don't say too often. Although he gets tagged down to just 9, he's still in the fight. And this is not a safe angle to pull back to. Bolts is there, as he'll show firsthand. No survivors. So back to tied once again. The first round on the T half of Imperial. And the impact is felt instantly. 2 players are pretty grim in terms of their finances. Xfloud down at 1900, and Xantares not faring much better at 2400. So I'm not sure if they'll call a timeout here to figure out what they're going to do next, because 3 players can buy. Do they even want to though, Blair? Because you force here and you lose, and Imperial are in such a good spot.
Well, we do see the op out for Woxic, as Emor stroking his beard like a sage, using the tactical timeout to just talk things through. And if you had any questions about whether the IGLing duties has been passed on over from Woxic to Emor, I feel like, having watched the cams in the past couple of games of Eternal Fire, it does seem like Emor is the one who's calling the shots right now. As you see the buy coming in, I did spot a couple of M4A1s and MP9 as well in the mix for Eternal Fire. And despite a bit of a streak of rounds they had, Vince, because of some of the players they hemorrhaged, they're down to a rough buy here. Bolts has been spotted and will be tagged down at 3 HP, but somehow stays alive.
Unconfirmed though, they're not entirely sure of this. Does mean that a stray bullet or one of the HEs landing anywhere close to him will finalize, so he has to be a little bit more careful. It's why he's backed away to watch the flank in from the ladder room. Now joining the rest of his teammates, flash into side. 3 players situated over on the crane, and there's a boost up as well. So 2 separate angles that they can try and thwart this ramp push into. First making noise, MP9's up close, flashbang up and over, but it won't be affecting any of them. They drop down, go looking for a fight. And somehow Imperial still have lost no players. They're dodging and darting past these bullets. And as they back away, as they rotate to the B site, is when Imperial start to make moves upside an A ramp. This is ridiculous timing.
That's actually insane. And Vinny's selling it as well. This is perfect. Oh, Vinny's he's alone and he's somehow still alive. Xcloud will finally, actually, Emor's going to finally take him down, but the moment they get the kill, the round is lost. The timing, just the CS gods, Vince, it is They can be cruel at times, and that was so cruel for Eternal Fire. FNX even waiting to take down these guns, teasing away. They know where the op is, and they're getting hounded. They're getting hunted.
There's two more as well coming from the B site, and they know this. xFloud is peering up. Not the primary AWPer, of course. There's a chance he may miss his shot. There's a chance he'll get punished for this. Emo's down, xFloud is down, no saved weapons. And Imperial, what a time to strike this is. It was even a good setup. Like, I like what they went for, Eternal Fire. It's just the timing completely destroyed them.
That's the thing about Counter-Strike. Sometimes it's just a matter of the timing. You might have the right play, the right setup, the right idea. And when they're peeling away as well, Vince, that's the moment Vinny opted to strike at B. Right? And the moment he gets a kill, they're like, yeah, guys, it has to be B. There's no one at A. Completely bamboozled, and even the weapons, if they'd at least held on to those 3 rifles, it could still be like, yeah, it's fine, you can still buy up, but they get snatched away by Imperial. And now it's just the default pistols. Just the default pistols, and it's gonna be a bit of a aim map here for and his merry men. I do like how Eternal Fire are wasting no time. Bit of a Eco Cobra for picking up 4, might as well. We spoke about the streak that Eternal Fire were on, Vince, 4 in a row to start of the second half, and now Imperial are on a streak of their own, and it's looking good, it's looking solid. Barely any casualties the last couple of rounds. So the money is magnificent for this side. Average of $7,000 after the buy, after repurchasing all the utility and whatnot. That is great for Fallen and his men.
Yeah, really getting to the business end of this match now. This decider between which of these teams lives to fight another day and which team is eliminated. And it feels like Imperial have completely put that disappointing Mirage performance to the back of their minds. And now they are firing on all cylinders. Woxic though lines up, and there's a team kill in there, and the bomb spills out as well. Elevator could be the final resting place of this round. Imperial have let this one slip. There is still a way back in, still 3 players and plenty of time. Dodging the flashbang is fallen, but now that the CT smoke is cleared, they have to be cognizant of this position. And in doing so, it allows them to be conquered that much easier. For 90 HP has the right idea, but this would have to be the best play of the entire tournament if he even gets close to clutching this. He's losing health. 2 headshots out of nowhere, but when you're up against 5, that's not going to be good enough. Nice effort, but Eternal Fire do bring us back to a 1-round deficit now, and it forces Imperial's hand to call the tactical timeout.
Yeah, great round from Eternal Fire, but then I was just blown away with that first shot from Fur. Oh, the timing there, that is just huge from Woxic. Oh, just incredible control of the AK-47 from Fur. But Eternal Fire, 3-round loss streak comes to an end. Imperial, they've shown they do know how to approach this. We saw the stats as well. It's the what, 12% win rate on this map in the past 3 months for Imperial.
Yes, that's right.
But they're looking to just they're just trying to say, listen, sure, I might have 12%, but there's a reason we've allowed this map as a decider. I had my questions about it when they banned Dust 2, a couple of other maps where at least it can be competitive on against Eternal Fire, but they're showing they can still make this close. Not just close, they have the lead. It's Imperial. Slowly using the incendiaries and molotovs to try and make life a bit uncomfortable here, forcing out a bit of utility. And while that happens, I love this from Eternal Fire. They're getting pressured towards B, and they go for the ramp control. Calix's and Taris pushing on in. They're like, fine, go B then.
Oh, that was such a nice effort, but Woxic has dealt with both of them. And considering that he was knocked down to 12 almost instantly, what a recovery. Dropping down, 2 players in middle, taking control. And Imperial again reeling on the back foot. They've been staggered.
And this is looking grim. Like I said, they have no avenue back towards A, so they're walking in to 3 CTs lying in wait. They have some utility though to kind of work with, but they need an opening, and Fallen not able to find it.
Incendiary out. The follow-up damage is there. Furus doing his absolute best to keep his team in this round. 23 seconds. The bomb's still under control. They need to hold on to this. They can't afford to lose the bomb on the transition, but they also need to get some kills. 13 seconds to play with. Flashbang out, pushing behind it. But Vinny comes out second best, and in doing so, Fallen can only save, but Calyx is here. Calyx is here, and he's going to take down Fallen. I'm not sure if that was before time or not. I think it was just before the time ran out, because Fallen still has 4,900. But I honestly, that's like a millisecond away from being too far gone.
Despite the heroics of earlier there, Vince, you know, where he was able to take away a couple of guns, hurt the economy a little bit, and again here, 2 openings, despite the fact that almost the entirety of the CTs were waiting for them. Imperial not able to crack this one open. First doing almost everything he can, but he needs a little bit of help here. Everyone else is kind of quieting down a bit in the past few rounds, but that was great from Eternal Fire. Just a reaction there from all the utility being deployed towards B to go for the deep ramp control, forcing Imperial to head towards B. This brilliant stuff. And once more, Imperial, they want to crack this B bomb site. All 5 players waiting. Flashes will rain on in, and xCloud's got to hold his ground.
Oh man, there's so many flashes, but none of them affected xCloud. It basically only hit the T's, and now Woxic is holding on from the gens, and Zentares puts an end to the round with authority. Eternal Fire just thwart that push. So much aggression, but key choke points, key areas of the site go completely uncontested.
And there's no one watching the flank as well. This fast flank coming in from Eternal Fire. Imperial, they just seem to... It just calls out a spawn, straight out of spawn. All right, guys, just gonna be going for the full B execute. And that's allowing so much freedom for Eternal Fire to work with. This is faster. It's another buy. Although that being said, there is a Tech 9 in the hands of Fallen. The rest of them have AK-47s. They're all the incendiaries. But this pace being set here by Imperial have forced Eternal Fire to play a little bit more passively towards this A bomb set. Earlier, they've been really good at exerting pressure towards ramp. But a minute and 20 seconds, and Imperial having pushed up so deep up ramp, that's more options available to the Brazilians to work with.
They managed to bypass all of this early flirtation on the side of Eternal Fire without losing a single point in health. So, decent positions assumed, forcing out a couple of smokes as well on the side area. Woxic, Eagle Eyes, train down. Oh, Vinny, that is a ridiculous entry frag. And it could be another one. Well, the timing was slightly off, but he's selling this. He's selling this fully. It's drawn out a second player who's now interested over there. Emo's joined with xCloud. And this means that only 2 players defend the A site.
Zentares is going to lob the nade. I thought he probably had another one as well next to him, but no. And now they know the hit's going to be coming on in 30 seconds.
Zentares with the AK. Oh, they line up for him, and it's a triple spray! Just takes this round and flushes it away. But they're still in with a chance. Fur still here. He's still on the prowl and still connecting headshots. Fur salvages it out of nowhere after Zentares nearly puts it too far gone.
3 kills for Zentares. 3, just a spray down there as everyone aligns, and then Fur just goes above and beyond. How much more can this man do? 26 and 15 for him.
Oh, I was sure when Zentares landed that triple spray, this moment here, they lined up for him, sprays them down. That felt like it was all she wrote, but Fur, the monster, the beast himself, salvages it, puts Eternal Fire into their 4th and final tactical timeout. And with 3 players struggling financially, they'll be able to get a force out, but it's going to be lacking a couple of grenades here and there. MP9 for Calyx. And if Imperial win this round, Eternal Fire are in so much trouble. They may not recover for the rest of this map. It may be a done deal.
That was a 4K as well for mind you, Vince. That was huge from him. Here we go. You said it best. This round is so important here for Eternal Fire as Calyx and Xantares, they strike in tandem. Taking care of not just Fallen and Bolts, but they have also softened up the danger man, the demon in the server. That is Fur. But Fur will not slow down. But look at this from Xbox. This is huge. The MP9. There's so much of real estate for Eternal Fire to work with. Not just real estate, that's the information game being won already by the Turkish side.
You know, as much as I was saying that Eternal Fire's finances may not recover if they lose this round, the same could be said of Imperial. They're a little bit better off, couple players over $1,000, but it's not as if they're sat on a large sum of money themselves. Fur with the spray may have been softened up, but he's still capable of delivering. But it is a one and done. Now Eternal Fire need to repel 2 more players, pushing in. They go single file, and Xantares puts them down with authority. FNX keeps alive, 52 hit points. Separate him and his demise. Separate Eternal Fire at a 14th round, and the UMP is not going to be good enough, but it does soften up FNX that little bit more. Player on the side at any given moment may flank in. FNX has a decent read of the situation, but I think he might be pulling back to save this AK-47. They know that their money is screwed. They know how much trouble they're in. That is such a difficult decision to make when so much is on the line, but they have to think with their heads here. Oh, that sucks, Blair. That has to sting so much to save in that situation.
Oh, this is grim, isn't it? Now, FNX does have money for a utility purchase. I think he had $1,500 before at that save point, but no bonus money for him. But the bonus money for the rest of his team as well. It's grim. Do they force up here? Yes is the answer. Yes is the answer, Vince. 2,900 lost bonus. If they lose it, they'll still have 3,400. So a buy is still very possible come the next round. But it's not a pretty buy. It is not a pretty buy, no matter how you look at it. They have his AK in the hands of FNX. He has a full belt of utility as well. But for the rest of them, another AK for Fur. Yeah, give that man an AK. Vinny with the Galil, and Tech 9 for FNX and Fallen. 4 Molotovs and 5 smokes and a handful of flashbangs to work with. But what do they do with this Eternal Fire? They can smell victory here, Vince.
Oh, that shot missing, though, could punish them. Aggression out. Flashbang is good, though. It does land in the eyes of Fur. And again, he's hungry. Again, he wants to get in the thick of the action. Molotov down, will be smoked out. They now know 1 player sandbags guaranteed. And this is where they need their A defenders to help out that sandbag position. Calyx is doing just that, but Fallen with a Tech 9. Runs and guns, slight gap of the smoke, and Calyx will exploit it. Nearly again runs out of ammo, but trades across to the other A1S of Bolts, who goes for a wild spray, gets punished. And here comes Calyx for more. Flashbang in his eyes will yield the kill for the Brazilians, but they still find themselves a player behind.
What a play by Calyx, and Woxic smartly falling back. You don't want to play that angle with the AWP especially. FNX down to 42 HP and Vinny. Now they can't even retrieve the rifles. So they have to come in from the short position. They have the Molotov and a flash. So the Molotov maybe for headshot. They try and get the bomb down. Emor just spraying on in as Woxic finds Vinny, and it's all on FNX.
Got a girl. Tech 9 goes through, rips the head off. 17 HP left to his name, though. So enough bullets in this magazine to make it interesting, and does damage to both players. 28 health, 18 health stood against him, but Eternal Fire stand tall. And now they have 2 match points.
Now, He didn't get the bomb down, so there is no plant money, but it is max loss bonus here for Imperial, so they can eke out a buy. Although I believe a couple of them might be down to just shy of $3,700. Actually, make that a little bit more grim there, Vince. So Galil's might come out, maybe an AK being purchased and dropped to Fur, because he has just been insane for his team. And this is, I mean, what a series it's been. The map pick of Nuke from Eternal Fire getting absolutely destroyed by Imperial, and then Imperial leading 9-2 on Mirage, and Eternal Fire just clawing back, pulling off a monumental comeback to now being in 2 map points. And yeah, the money isn't great. They've invested a lot in the utility. There is 1 Galil, 1 UMP, no AK-47s, 2 Tech 9s, and a Mac 10. And it's going to require a bit of a miracle here for Imperial to bring this one back. And for Eternal Fire, they have everything to work with.
If ever there was a time for Fur to conjure something up, now is it. I am somewhat amazed that he is on a Tech 9 as opposed to that Galil. Can he use it? Absolutely. But surely, in the form he's currently in, you want to give him every chance to have as much impact as physically possible. They are lining up for an execute onto the B site, but there are 4 players close proximity, one of which is mid, but a very fast flank and rotation is in play. Smokes, mollies, and flashes all being tossed out. The T's haven't pushed just yet, though. Maybe trying to play some mind games, a bit of misdirection. See if they can force away a couple of rotations first. Now they're going to be boosting up Vinny. He'll be taking point. So much rests on this man's shoulders right now. If he can get an entry, it could be a fast track onto the site. If he loses his head, they have so little time left. 25 seconds. 4 players are now here. They've done nothing to bait away Eternal Fire, but the flash is good. Emor now holds on. Double spray comes in for Emor, and this is a done deal. Eternal Fire, pull it off, knock out their adversaries. Imperial